subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Really good. I have to say, father-in-law. How'd he become father-in-law? Old guy Su-chun really has a good eye. These maids are very plump. Is the life of a 7th level pilot so beautiful? Su Wanking noticed Wang Chu's eyes and wrinkled her delicate little nose. So brother Wang Chu likes this? Walk in the hall. Su-chun is already sitting on the sofa waiting. Sit down. Su-chun pointed to the sofa beside him and said. Wang Chu glanced at him and sat down silently without saying a word. Su Wanking also sat next to Wang Chu obediently. Su-chun. He took a deep breath and suppressed the idea of being rough with Wang Chu. Stay away from my good daughter. But he also knew why he called Wang Chu here today. Su-chun leaned on the back of the sofa, crossed his legs, and tried to pose as much as possible, and said leisurely, "You are very good. You can actually defeat the 21st level Abyss boss." Wang Chu was a little surprised. To be honest, he thought Su-chun was here to give him a blow. He came up and threw out a check. Then he yelled, "This is a check with zeros as you like. Take it and leave my daughter." And he actually praised me? Wang Chu raised his eyebrows and climbed up the pole. Then shouldn't you say thank you to me? After all, he brought his precious daughter with him. Su sure was stunned when he heard this. No? Do you know who is sitting in front of you? That is the 7th level pilot, Lord Su-chun. You actually let Lord Su-chun say thank you to you? In the living room. Su-chun narrowed his eyes and looked at Wang Chu for a long time, and finally uttered 2 words slowly. Thank you. Chapter 21, Thank you. Su sure was stunned. Master, did you really say that? On one side is a rank 7 pilot, and on the other side is a rank 0 rookie. This huge gap made him suddenly confused. Wang Chu looked straight into Su-chun's eyes. He could tell that Su-chun's thanks were sincere. Su-chun continued. Shao King had explained everything to me on the way here just now. If you hadn't defeated the level 21 Abyss boss, I'm afraid you would all have stayed in the dungeon. So, I really thank you. Wang Chu remained silent. It could be felt that Su-chun really loves his daughter. Su-chun looked at Wang Chu for a long time and found it more and more funny. Just now he was still talking nonsense there, asking me to thank him, probably still angry about a few years ago. As a result, he didn't play by the rules, and he didn't. This little guy is still so interesting. He placed his right hand on the marble table, tapped the table with his index finger, and said solemnly, "Since the dungeon you two entered together has been invaded by the Abyss, there's a great probability that one of you has been targeted by the Abyss." Wang Chu and Su Wanking nodded. This is everyone's basic understanding of the Abyss invasion. The Abyss will invade pilots with extremely high talents and try to kill pilots in the dungeon as much as possible. It has happened many times in the past. Many pilots died under the Abyss invasion, causing the Abyss monsters to pour out of the dungeon and cause chaos. I just don't know whether it is Wang Chu or Su Wanking who is targeted. There is no way to separate them for elimination. After all, the Abyss invasion does not occur every time. Su-chun looked at the two with a serious expression and said, "In this regard, I suggest that you two form a fixed team and go to the dungeon together, no matter what the situation is in the future." Sure enough, Wang Chu has guessed Su-chun's thoughts. Su Wanking's eyes lit up on the side. There is such a good thing? It's for your own good and for King's good. Not to mention that absolute overclocking and absolute support are 2 core chip modules that are perfectly matched. You two go into the dungeon together. Even if you encounter the Abyss invasion again, you have a very high chance of winning. Wang Chu was silent for a while and whispered, "To be honest, my absolute overclocking core chip module has additional entries. I think the Abyss invasion is most likely coming for me. If Wanking and I form a fixed team, then there is a high probability that we will encounter many Abyss invasions." Su Wanking was moved. Wang Chu meant that he was worried that she would continue to encounter danger when she went into the dungeon with him. It turns out that he has always cared about me so much. He really likes me. Feeling the burning eyes next to him, Wang Chu, I just don't want you to drag me down and make me go directly to the second stage of the Speed Pass dungeon. But Su-chun snorted coldly. Only your core chip module has additional entries? Do you think Shaoqing doesn't have any? Ah, Wang Chu was stunned. That makes sense. Su Wanking's appearance, talent, and life experience. From any perspective, she is the heroine of a novel. How could she not cheat? And Su-chen's expression changed for a while, and he seemed to have made some important decision before he spoke slowly. I understand the feelings between the two of you, but Su-chan sighed lightly, and his eyes seemed to lose focus at this moment. Don't blame me for being too nosy. I can't protect my loved ones without strength. This should be about himself more than 10 years ago. Wang Chu was silent. After a while, Su-chan said slowly, if you can be promoted to a 6th-rank pilot within 3 years, then I allow you to be with Shaoqing. Really? Su Wanking stood up suddenly. She looked surprised. Dad, you didn't lie to me? Of course it's true. How could Dad lie to you? Great, Dad is so nice. I like Dad the most. Crack. Wang Chu seemed to hear the sound of Su-chen's back teeth grinding. No, you two have agreed now. Have you asked for my opinion? I haven't agreed yet. You've made a 3-year agreement for me? I'm just about to go to college. College life is so good. I don't want to hang myself on a tree. Wang Chu just thought of this. Su Wanking has already rushed over, hugging Wang Chu's arms with both hands. Wang Chu felt his arm sinking deeply, wrapped by 2 huge mountains. Hiss, D-level strongman, so terrifying. Okay then, Wang Chu reluctantly agreed. How easy is it to be promoted to a 6th-level pilot within 3 years? About 30% of the pilots of top colleges and universities can break through to the 5th-level pilot when they graduate from college 4 years later and draw their own exclusive mecha, and only half of them can break through to the 6th-level pilot when they graduate from college. Not to mention 3 years. Very few. Those people are all famous pilots today. Wang Chu also knew that this was just a means for Su-chan to motivate him. Since he and Su Wanking formed a fixed team to go to the dungeon, the two of them became inseparable. How could they not fall in love with each other after being together every day? Not to mention that Su Wanking already admired Wang Chu very much. Even if Wang Chu fails to become a 6th-rank pilot in 3 years, Su Wanking probably can't leave him. Su-chun 2A. You kid. You agreed so reluctantly? You're still at a loss, right? By the way, I suggest you two choose the Imperial Capital Mechanical Weaponry. Wang Chu looked at him, waiting for his explanation. The Imperial Capital Mechanical Weaponry has been overtaken by the Magic City Mechanical Weaponry in the past 5 years and lost the title of the first mechanical weapon college in Dacia. Just for this reason, as long as you show enough talent, you can get double the training resources of the Imperial Capital Mechanical Weaponry. In general, it's not a loss. Also, the teacher who taught me at the beginning and some of my classmates are teaching there. Understand. This is the most important point. It's a society of favors. It's easy to get things done if you have connections. For Wang Chu, there is not much difference between the Imperial Capital Mechanical Weaponry and the Magic City Mechanical Weaponry. Okay, that's all I have to say. Su-chan clapped his hands, stood up, and walked upstairs. Halfway through the walk, he paused and gritted his teeth. Wang Chu, you haven't become a 6th-level pilot yet. You know what you can and can't do. Su-sure, show me a way. Wang Chu wanted to laugh after hearing this. What a weak threat. Leaving such a D-level strongman around and doing nothing. Is it possible? You. Su-chan narrowed his eyes and made a sound with his nose. Lord Su-chan. Boy, it's useless to pretend to be pitiful and beg for mercy. Wang Chu waved his hand. That's not what I meant. You also know that it's not that easy to become a 6th-level pilot. I'll take away the nutrient solution on the table first. After all, I'm still growing. Hee. Su-chan, no. You kid are eating and taking. Chapter 22, the next morning. Wang Chu held a bag of eggs high and finally fought his way out of the encirclement of a bunch of old men and old ladies. Fuck, I finally got a discounted product. Hey, young man, you really don't know how to respect the elderly and love the young. Old you are more terrifying than the Goblin King. Lin Dai you on the bus, the god of war in the supermarket, right? Grabbing a bag of discounted goods from these old men and old ladies is even harder than killing the 21st level Abyss boss. Even though it is still in the state of the last ripple 100 times the attribute points, the attribute value crushes these old men and old ladies. It is precisely because the attribute value difference is too big. It is even more difficult for Wang Chu to perform. What if he bumps into something? He doesn't get the discounted product, and he will be blackmailed to death. That would be a big loss. These old guys are really terrifying. Boss, 10 fried dough sticks, 20 steamed buns, 2 more cups, 3 cups of soy milk. Wang Chu waved his hand and ordered. After the physical strength was improved, the most obvious change was that the appetite increased. Fortunately, the last ripple did not affect the appetite. Otherwise, no matter how many steamed buns, it would not be enough to fill the stomach. I cleaned up all the modules that exploded in the Goblin Forest yesterday, and now there are more than 200,000 Alliance coins in the account. I could never afford such an expensive breakfast before. Wang Chu made a beep sound and scanned the code to pay. This is also the reason why he took the nutrient solution on Su Chen's table. The child is growing up and needs to be supplemented. After becoming a pilot, Wang Chu directly quit all his previous part-time jobs. Now that he can make money by going to dungeons, there is naturally no need to make the little money he made for survival before. Under the strange eyes of others, Wang Chu finished the food on the table in a few bites. After eating until he was 70% full, Wang Chu got on the bus. Target, the orphanage in the suburbs of Xingqing. After getting off the bus, Wang Chu continued to walk for more than 20 minutes. The orphanage is located in a remote area, and it was not easy to go out in the past. To get to the city, you have to walk a long way first, and then take a bus for more than 20 stops to get to the city. For them who were children at the time, it was an unreachable distance. Passing through the sparse woods, several slightly dilapidated red brick buildings appeared in sight. Ivy climbed on the red brick walls, bringing a hint of vitality to the old buildings. It's still the same here. Wang Chu's mouth curled slightly, and childhood memories came to his mind. As an orphan, Wang Chu grew up in Xingqing Orphanage. When she was 12 years old, Su Wanking was found and taken away by Su Chun. When she was 14 years old, in order not to add trouble and pressure to the orphanage, Wang Chu left the orphanage at night and lived a life of working and going to school. But the next moment, he frowned. Something is wrong. In the past, the laughter and play of the children in the orphanage could be heard from hundreds of meters away. But today it was very quiet. Something must have happened. Wang Chu quickened his pace and left a shadow in the path. Sure enough, when approaching the gate of the orphanage, a burst of smashing and smashing came from the orphanage. "Old man, when will the protection fee be paid this month?" It's just a foreshadowing of one chapter. Someone is making trouble. Wang Chu instantly appeared in the small yard of the orphanage. At this time, more than 20 orphans, big and small, were huddled in the corner, and 2 white-haired old men, a man and a woman, were standing trembling in front of them. The dean's face was full of fear. "2 pilots. I will pay you whatever money you want. 20,000 Alliance coins. If you pay me a dime less, I will stay here today. Live in your coins." Wang Chu interrupted several people with a roar. I said why I felt that voice was so familiar just now. Why are they the 2 idiots I met at the entrance of the dungeon yesterday? Yesterday, Wang Chu planned to get rid of the 2 people with the muscle lock after leaving the dungeon. As a result, the Abyss invasion happened, and the entrance of the dungeon was cleared. After coming out, the 2 people were gone. As a result, they are here now. Wang Chu frowned. Isn't this too coincidental? Boy, we meet again. The muscular man turned his head and saw Wang Chu, showing a cruel smile. He still remembered the shoulder that was crushed yesterday. For this, he spent several $1,000s on medical treatment. You ran away yesterday. Your luck is not so good today. See Wang Chu. The 2 of them activated the exoskeleton mecha form directly. The red and purple light instantly enveloped the 2. 2 different exoskeleton mechas appeared in the same place. The same thing is that both exoskeleton mechas are engraved with a 5-pointed star. Prove that they're all first-level pilots. although they are first-level pilots. But the level of both of them has reached level 20. Even if they are just useless first-level pilots who dare not challenge in the promotion match. When facing new pilots, they naturally have unique advantages in attributes. When the dean saw Wang Chu, he quickly reached out to stop him. We give money. We give money. Don't hurt the children. The strong man was covered by the red exoskeleton mecha, and he sneered twice. Old man, money, I'm going to take it. People, I'm going to take care of it too. The next second, buzz, the engine ignited instantly. The roar resounded throughout the orphanage. The red exoskeleton mecha rushed forward with a spear in hand. The tip of the spear pointed directly at Wang Chu. Ah, brother Wang Chu, the children collectively exclaimed. Wang Chu frowned. There are so many children here. It's not a good place to fight. I am sure I can kill them in seconds. But after all, there are two people on the other side. It would be bad if the children were hurt. The silver-white light enveloped Wang Chu's body in an instant. A set of exoskeleton mecha with Asian dragon scales appeared in front of everyone. Then Wang Chu dodged the spear tip that was coming straight at him and retreated violently. Wow, Asian dragon suit. The strong man and the thin man looked at each other, their eyes full of surprise. I thought it was just a small order with a small fight, but I didn't expect it to be a fat fish. We've made a fortune. Chase. The director's grandfather shouted from the yard. Wang Chu, run. You run pretty fast. Wang Chu stopped about 1 kilometer away from the Xingxing orphanage. This is a wilderness. It's perfect to kill the two here. The strong man sneered when he saw that Wang Chu was not going to run away. Boy, take off the subdragon suit and hand it to us. We can spare your life. What's wrong with you? A new pilot wearing a subdragon suit. We are 2 first-class pilots at level 20. A purple module. The highest attribute points are as much as 1,200 points. That's what they said. The original task they took was to take Wang Chu back. But now they changed their minds. Stealing the subdragon suit can make more money than that order. However, the scene of Wang Chu kneeling and begging for mercy that the two imagined did not appear. Drip, drip. Raindrops began to fall from the sky. 1 drop, 2 drops of raindrops fell on the faces of several people. Wang Chu looked at the strong man coldly and said, 1,200 points? That's a lot. I'm really scared. Boom! A thunder flashed by. The silver-white exoskeleton mecha moved at the same time as the sky was struck white by thunder. The silver-white and red collided together. Dragon Claw. Wang Chu's mecha's right arm burst out with brilliant light. Wang Chu, who originally had 1,400 points of strength, was blessed by the effect of Dragon Claw. Instantly dealt a burst of damage that only 2,800 points of strength could have. The red exoskeleton mecha hadn't reacted yet. With a click sound, the mecha shattered. It turned into a white light and poured into the strong man's spiritual pattern. One move, just one move. His exoskeleton mecha was broken. The situation changed too quickly, and the situation took a turn for the worse. The strong man slumped on the ground. He raised his head, his mouth trembling, and he hadn't reacted yet. What happened? Where's my exoskeleton mecha? Walla dash. The rain suddenly became fierce. Bean-sized raindrops fell all over the sky. The rain blurred his eyes. In the blur, a silver-white figure slowly approached. Chapter 23. I'm sorry. Please let me go. The sharp claws pierced the chest of the strong man. Blood spurted out and merged with the rain. The strong man's body collapsed on the ground, and he had lost his life. Wang Chu shook his right hand hard and wiped off the blood. Next, it's your turn. Wang Chu's eyes flashed with cold light, and he turned to look at the purple exoskeleton mecha beside him. These two people, he won't let any of them go. A fishy smell flowed down the thigh of the thin man, just being stared at by Wang Chu. He was actually scared to pee. Big brother, don't kill me. He knelt on the ground and kowtowed crazily. We are not here to cause trouble. Someone ordered us to come here. We're the orphans we agreed to be. This guy has seen the living devil. Kill if someone says so. Is he really just a student? Wang Chu paused after hearing this. Someone instructed me. Wang Chu raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect there would be other developments. What valuable things in this broken orphanage could be targeted? Land? How much is this land in the wilderness worth? Money? This orphanage doesn't have much money. Tell me clearly, who wants to find out about the orphanage? If you say something nonsense, you will die. Yes. The thin man raised his head and was about to speak. Something strange happened. A black breath suddenly emerged from the ground and began to spread upward along his feet. Wang Chu's face changed and his figure retreated violently. What's going on? The thin man looked down at his body. His face was ferocious, and he began to be speechless. Abyss breath. The abyss breath actually appeared here. After playing 2 abyss copies in a row, Wang Chu was very familiar with this abyss breath. Black air wrapped around the skinny guy's exoskeleton mecha, exuding a strange breath. The skinny guy showed a horrified expression, stretched out his hand, and his mouth moved stutteringly. Looking at the shape of his mouth, it seemed to say, "Help! Help me! This is bad." The abyss breath encountered before, it works in the dungeon. It can corrupt and erode the boss in the dungeon. But when the abyss breath appears in the real world, it will also pollute the pilot, especially those pilots with unstable minds and cowardly personalities. Wang Chu pondered for a moment and immediately took out his mobile phone to call his cheap father-in-law. "Hello, father-in-law. There is an abyss invasion near Xingxing Orphanage. The invader is a first-class pilot. I sent you the location. Come quickly. If you don't come, Wanking will be a widow." Beep, beep, beep. After hanging up the phone, Wang Chu carefully observed the purple exoskeleton mecha, whose aura was growing stronger and stronger. This is really troublesome. As a 7th-class pilot, Su Chun has seen all kinds of storms and waves. So what about the abyss pilot? It's not like he hasn't killed anyone before. But this kind of iron-blooded tough guy was really shocked when he heard the word widow. The phone in his hand was directly crushed. "Su Sure." Wang Chu's voice was very loud just now. He could hear it clearly from a distance of 1 meter. Su Chun snorted coldly, and Su Sure handed over his phone respectfully. Taking the phone, Su Chun dialed a number. "Hello, it's me. My phone is broken." An abyss pilot appeared 1 kilometer north of the Star Orphanage. "Who's there?" "A fool is there." After hanging up the phone, Su Chan said to Su Sure in a deep voice, "You go too, but you go into the Star Orphanage. The abyss pilot is a very terrifying existence. The attributes will skyrocket." He was originally a level 21st class pilot. At this moment, after being contaminated by the abyss aura, he must be stronger than the level 21 2nd class Goblin King. The thick black aura lingered on the thin man's body, turning into a black and purple appearance. He raised his head. His dark blue face was hideous, and he looked at Wang Chu with scarlet, bloodthirsty eyes. "I feel an endless stream of power. Is this the abyss aura?" Wang Chu looked at the other party coldly. "You just put on a spray paint, change the color, and put on a skin, and you became stronger? Is this abyss power so cheap? Who is afraid of who? No matter how high your attributes are, higher than my 2nd stage? To be honest, the name of the abyss pilot is scary. But if a random ball of abyss power can make a 1st-level pilot master has 2,000, 3,000 points of attributes, that reality has long been a mess, polluted by the breath of the abyss." Noisy, the thin man let out a low roar. A voice that does not belong to humans came from the throat of the person in front of him. How can a mortal understand the power of the abyss? Boom! The black and purple exoskeleton mecha suddenly exploded. It turned into a black and purple lightning and appeared in front of Wang Chu in an instant. The terrifying breath of the abyss exploded on him like thunder. Wang Chu snorted coldly, his muscles tensed, and he rushed forward. Snap! A series of crackling explosions resounded through the wilderness. In a few seconds, Wang Chu's exoskeleton mecha began to crack. Originally, because of absolute overclocking, the durability of the mecha itself decreased very quickly. High-intensity bombardment is too much for absolute overclocking. That's it, Wang Chu laughed, not worried at all about the impending explosion of the armor. After a few rounds, he has already figured out the opponent's strength level. If the opponent originally had 1,200 points of strength, then now it is at most 1,800 points. The strength has soared by 50%. It has indeed increased a lot. But for me, it's not enough. Hearing Wang Chu's sarcasm, the thin man shouted, "Go to hell!" The engine roared, and the black and purple mecha instantly bent forward. The right fist hit Wang Chu. The next moment, the exoskeleton mecha on Wang Chu's body broke apart, turning into light and pouring into the spiritual pattern. Looking at the black and purple exoskeleton mecha, emitting black air all over his body, Wang Chu smiled. The last ripple. Start. Hee hee. The thin man laughed grimly. He had been waiting for this moment. The boy in front of him had already removed the exoskeleton mecha state. Became a lamb to be slaughtered. Your name is Wang Chu, right? It's too late for you to beg for mercy now. Too late. Wang Chu shrugged his shoulders with a face full of ridicule. It's really too late. If I don't get rid of you, others should be here. The thin man was stunned for a moment, and he didn't understand the meaning of Wang Chu's words clearly. A big foot has arrived. Yami asked for directions with her foot. Bang! This kick was strong enough. The black and purple exoskeleton mecha flew out instantly. Kicked into the mountain wall. The thin man was embedded in the wall in a trance. No? What the hell happened? I was hit by a truck? Just about to get up. A fist as big as a sandbag has arrived. Looted a swing. Loot a rocket launcher. Wang Chu rushed out and punched the thin man on the head one after another. Although the moves have names, it is actually a turtle punch. Haven't you learned boxing? Haven't you seen Inzi's live broadcast? Exoskeleton fragments kept breaking out of the black and purple fuselage. Thief! What the hell is wrong with you? The thin man's face was distorted and he couldn't speak clearly. Are you the Abyss pilot or am I the Abyss pilot? This plot is wrong. How is it possible? Who told you that you can't afford crystals in exchange for collection honors? Rubbish blue skin. Who are you trying to scare? Huh? Boom. Wang Chu punched the thin man's black and purple exoskeleton one after another. The fist wind stirred up the wind and rain, and the mountain wall behind the thin man collapsed under Wang Chu's continuous attacks. Crack! The exoskeleton armor on the thin man's body, which was gradually cracking, finally reached the critical point. The next second, the purple exoskeleton armor of the thin man exploded. The exoskeleton armor state was lifted. Chapter 24 lightning continued to roll in the clouds. Thunder roared. In the rain, the black abyss breath that was originally wrapped around the mecha had dissipated in the air. Those broken exoskeleton mechas did not turn into light and return to the thin man's spiritual pattern. Sure enough, after the abyss pilot is defeated, the mecha will not return to the spiritual pattern. This person is no longer a pilot. Wang Chu looked at the thin man lying unconscious on the ground and breathed a sigh of relief. This guy has a long blood bar. He beat me so hard. You could take so many punches from me, enough for you to brag about for the rest of your life. Wang Chu kicked the thin man. The latter had fainted. In order to further understand what he said about being instructed by someone, Wang Chu specially spared the thin man's life and did not kill the thin man who removed the exoskeleton mecha state. Xingxing Orphanage. What is it that is worth targeting? Wang Chu shook his sore hand and frowned. If my fighting skills were better, I wouldn't need so many punches. Relying on the turtle punch alone can only rely on numerical crushing. Don't look at the looted a swing and looted bazooka just now. In fact, they're all turtle punches, no skills at all. It's all thanks to myself that I got the absolutely powerful attributes through the last ripple. Maybe when I enter the Imperial Capital Mecca, I can find a better martial arts teacher. When the numerical values are not as terrifying as those of teacher Saitama, the numerical crushing effect is still not very obvious. The most important thing is throwing the turtle punch affects my master's demeanor. After taking a breath, Wang Chu looked at the body of the sturdy man just now. The body has not been touched yet. After searching in the sturdy man's spiritual pattern, Wang Chu sighed twice. So poor. There are only some modules that are not worth much. In addition, there's also an Alliance ID card belonging to him, and all the Alliance coins are in it. However, if it is not the person himself, the Alliance ID card cannot withdraw money. Unless it is reviewed by the Alliance, it can be used as a trophy. This is also to prevent high-level pilots from committing murder and robbery for money. As for the thin man who is contaminated by the breath of the abyss, the spiritual pattern on the back of his hand has been rotten, and nothing can be turned out. Swish, just then, a figure cut through the rain curtain and landed a few meters away. Wang Chu turned his head to look. It was a female pilot who activated the sky-blue exoskeleton mecha. The lavender, long hair flowed down like a waterfall. There was a calm expression on the delicate face. The silver-white combat uniform wrapped her proud body and slender legs. Zing, the heavy rain poured on her, but was blocked by a thin layer of energy barrier. She glanced at the scene, and her beautiful eyes looked at the back of the thin man's hand for a few seconds. You solved the Abyss pilot? Wang Chu said lightly. Yes. This female pilot looks young, but her rank is not low. 4 5-pointed stars are engraved on the armor on her waist, and she is a 4th-rank pilot. I am Zing, the patrol officer of Xingqing. I received clues about the invasion of the Abyss and came to suppress it. She looked at Wang Chu deeply and asked coldly. According to the intelligence, the person who reported it is a 0-rank new pilot. Wang Chu smiled and raised the back of his left hand. Is it possible that I am a 0-rank pilot? I know you are a 0-rank pilot, but it is impossible for you to solve an Abyss pilot alone. Ziying's voice has an ethereal feeling and sounds good, but the words are full of doubts. Wang Chu shrugged. What's impossible? I'm so handsome. I must be honest. I'm telling the truth. Why don't you believe it? Ziying frowned and raised her eyebrows slightly. In her mind, there must be someone else who can solve the Abyss pilot. How could this 0-level pilot in front of him defeat the 20th level, 1st-level pilot who was contaminated by the Abyss? Isn't this a fantasy? The two were very close. Even though it was raining, Wang Chu could smell a faint violet fragrance on her body. It was very consistent with her introverted, deep, and somewhat unique temperament. Then, several more pilots broke through the air and landed in the courtyard. The leader was a 5th-level pilot driving a mecha. Thing. The voice came from the mecha. Several other 4th-tier mechas wearing exoskeleton mechas joked with each other. Alas, it's a waste of time again. The Abyss pilot has been dealt with by junior sister Zing. That's right, it's his bad luck to meet junior sister Zing. Zing shook her head gently. I didn't solve it. What? I didn't solve the Abyss pilot. Didn't you do it? The few people were stunned for a moment. The laughter disappeared, and only the sound of the rain was left. If it wasn't you, then who could it be? Ziying stretched out her green little finger and pointed at Wang Chu. This 0-level rookie pilot told me that he defeated the Abyss pilot. Everyone, are you serious? Zing, stop joking. I'm not joking. The atmosphere fell into silence. Wang Chu groaned. Did you bring an umbrella? Lend it to me. You are all activating your mechas, and I am the only one here listening to you chatting in the rain. Is it polite? Ziying snorted coldly. Although she was a little unhappy, she still took out an umbrella from her spirit pattern and threw it over. My classmate, you should not be so stubborn. If you have any clues, please don't waste time. The appearance of the Abyss pilot is very important. Just then, the 5th-level pilot driving the mecha spoke. Ziying, Brother Wang Chu, is a distinguished guest of Master Su Chun. Let's go back and talk about it. Ziying frowned slightly and said, Captain, this matter is too strange. We must find out as soon as possible. Let's do this for now, Ziying. The voice from the mecha became serious. The 5th-level pilot canceled the mecha form, changed into the form of an exoskeleton mecha, and nodded to Wang Chu apologetically. I'm sorry, Brother Wang Chu. We are late. I'm the captain of the patrol officers in Fengzi District. My name is Li Tianming. If it is convenient for you, please cooperate with us to take notes. Wang Chu smiled and waved his hand. Captain Li, you are too polite. We are all trying to find out the truth. Please understand. However, This spontaneous big bear girl is not bad. At least she gave me an umbrella. Ziying looked at Wang Chu deeply and said coldly, Captain, I will continue to patrol and see if I can find a trace of that strong man. Boom! Ziying controlled the exoskeleton mecha and rushed directly into the rain. Li Tianming Shuja Al Leslie. Let's go to Xingxing Orphanage to talk. I think you're still thinking about it now. Chapter 25, is that all? In the Xingxing Orphanage, Li Tianming looked at the transcript in his hand in silence. There were a few lines of words written on it briefly. Go home and see if you meet the gangsters, and then kill them all. It's all over, what else? Did the battle end so quickly? Do you have a word count requirement for your transcript? They'll give you a few more words. Bang, bang, bang. This battle was so exciting that it shook the world and made the gods and ghosts cry. Li Tianming looked down at the transcript and began to understand Ziying's feelings. Hard fist, one hit someone. Just now he thought. Wang Chu, this young man, just wanted to show off in front of Ziying. But, are you serious? Just then, a patrol officer standing in the back suddenly came up to Li Tianming and said a few words. The two talked while glancing at Wang Chu. Then, Li Tianming opened his mouth slightly, showing a surprised expression. I was wondering why your name is familiar. It turns out that you are the Wang Chu who got the SSS level rating in the first Abyss dungeon. The Wang Chu who ranked first. He said with a face full of resentment. Why didn't you tell me? You didn't ask. I can't just meet someone and ask. How do you know I got the SSS level rating in the faraway dungeon? Li Ting's Elite Zwisha. This guy, could it be that he really defeated the Abyss pilot? But even if he is the first pilot in history to get the SSS level rating in the first Abyss dungeon, it is unlikely that he can defeat a level 21st order Abyss pilot. The gap in attributes is huge. Either he still has some secrets, or someone is protecting him in secret. Forget it. Let's leave it at that for now. Li Tianming closed the record. This is not something he should worry about. He just needs to report the whole thing to his superiors. Captain Li, thank you. Take care. At the gate of Xingxing Orphanage, the director and others waved to the patrol officers. After finishing Wang Chu's statement, the patrol officers also took statements from the director's grandfather, grandmother, and several older children. You kid are so naughty. Director's grandfather Li Shun glanced at Wang Chu unhappily. Wang Chu Chuka. Died gamot one stet oterhen and sapet li sen twice. Bang 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 bang. As long as the child is safe, why are you grumbling? Looking at the two people who like to quarrel as always, Wang Chu smiled knowingly. After traveling through time, he really became an orphan. Growing up in Xingxing Orphanage, he really has a deep affection for the orphanage. He Yuan looked at Wang Chu and said kindly, Don't be brave in such dangerous things. You should protect your own safety when you encounter such things in the future. Got it, Grandma. Wang Chu note that? Grandma and Grandma, I brought some things this time, including food, drinks, and a few purple modules. I also transferred 100,000 Alliance coins to our hospital's account. I think it will be enough for a while. If you're short of money, please tell me. What are you doing with these? We don't need them. Li Shun snorted twice. He Yuan glared back, then looked at Wang Chu and said, You kid, pilots are very expensive. Grandma, I will save them for you first. If you need them, come to me anytime. Wang Chu Lauget. By the way, which city did Qiu and Hao go to study in? Qiu and Hao are the same age as Wang Chu, and they were the two children who had the best relationship with Wang Chu at the beginning, including Su Wanking. The four of them were inseparable. I'll tell you. A 6 or 7-year-old girl leaning against the main entrance of the orphanage said coquettishly. She had big eyes, a chubby face, and 2 pigtails, so cute. They, a group of children, had been peeking from behind for a long time. The director found a good school for brother Hao and sister Qiu, and they went to Yicheng to study. Yes, we have to study hard in the future. I also want to be a pilot as good as brother Wang Chu. The children talked to each other, and the courtyard became lively in an instant. Wang Chu looked at these children, just like seeing the little brats who surrounded him at the beginning. The resources of the orphanage are limited. All children have to leave the orphanage at the age of 15. Generally speaking, The orphanage will help pay for 1 semester's tuition and the living expenses in the future, and tuition fees have to be self-reliant. As for why not in the local area, the dean's grandparents said that only by staying away from the orphanage can one calm down and study. Only he and Su Wanking are exceptions. Su Wanking was taken home, and he wanted to come out and be self-reliant as soon as possible. After all, his mental age is there. Afternoon. Wang Chu had lunch with the children in the orphanage and left. Watching Wang Chu's gradually disappearing back, Li Shan slowly put down his hand and said in a voice that only he and He Yuan could hear, "What a pity, what a pity. This is absolute overclocking." In the Su family manner, Su Chen hung up the phone and the corners of his mouth slightly raised. This guy really made a big fuss. "You have this ability. Why are you calling me?" Just a few days after becoming a pilot, he can cross the level and defeat the 20th level Abyss pilot. So terrifying. But Su Chen frowned and fell into deep thought. Why did the Abyss appear in the Star Orphanage? The Abyss is not something that suddenly emerges from the ground. The fact that it appeared in the Star Orphanage proves that the person who released the Abyss is nearby. According to Wang Chu, the Abyss pilot was contaminated by the Abyss when he was about to reveal the person behind scenes. This also indirectly shows that the person who ordered the Abyss is very likely the one who released the Abyss. There's an Abyss envoy in Star City. Those old guys should be worried, right? Thinking of this, Su Chan snapped his fingers, and an idea began to sprout in his heart. Su Shi pushed the door open from outside and said respectfully with his brows lowered, "Master, Su Shi, have the 200,000 Alliance coins that you have given to the Star Orphanage every year been deposited on time in the past few years?" "Yes, Master. Go check the bank flow of the Star Orphanage for the past 10 years. "And where are the orphans who have walked out of the Star Orphanage in the past 10 years now? And what are they doing?" "Yes." Then, Su Chan thought for a moment and said in a deep voice, "There's one more thing you do first. Go to the warehouse right now and get a Philosopher's Stone and send it to Wang Chu." Hearing the Philosopher's Stone, Su Shi's drooping eyebrows suddenly widened. The master actually wants to give the Philosopher's Stone to Wang Chu? Even if it is the Su family, there are not many in total. After pulling back his thoughts, Su Shi stood up and said, "Yes." The room returned to calm. Su Chan suddenly thought of something. Fuck, the goal I set for that kid was still too low. Chapter 26, after returning to the one-bedroom apartment of less than 20 square meters, Wang Chu took out the nutrient solution he had brought back yesterday from the refrigerator and drank it in one gulp. A stream of pure energy began to flow through the body and spread throughout the body. The originally tired body was instantly nourished. Then, Wang Chu felt an itching and burning sensation in his body. Ding! Physical point +1. Wang Chu clicked his tongue twice. This nutrient solution is really good. It has a good effect in restoring physical strength and can also increase attribute points. Unfortunately, this effect only works for the first time you drink it. This bottle of nutrient solution that was brought back casually is not extracted from an ordinary first or second level Abyss monster. I just looked at the label. It is a nutrient solution extracted from a 5th level monster. Just a small bottle is worth at least 300,000 Alliance coins. This is more than all of Wang Chu's belongings combined in the past few days. It has a powerful physical recovery effect and can also improve physical attributes. However, compared to their own attributes, pilots pay more attention to improving the attributes of the mecha, and few people are willing to spend money to buy nutrient solution. So what if the basic attributes of the character are high? It can't be higher than the mecha. Even if you are attacked without activating the mecha, the spiritual pattern will automatically activate the protection. So it doesn't matter how weak the character's attributes are. So for many rich people, nutrient solution is used to increase endurance. Abbreviated as Rich Woman's Happy Water. Wang Chu smacked it and smacked it. I drank too fast and didn't taste it. I'll go and get a few more bottles another day. Su Chun, thank you. After recovering his strength, Wang Chu lay on the bed and took a nap. However, as soon as he closed his eyes, everything that happened today began to replay. Why did the Abyss pilot appear? They said they were ordered to do it. But what in the Star Orphanage is worth their attention? Is my previous guess true? Ahem and Kyu are in Icheng. When you have time, ask my cheap father-in-law to help check their whereabouts. As his thoughts continued to diverge, Wang Chu lay on the bed, breathing slowly. The highly tense battle made him a little tired, and he gradually fell into a deep sleep. In the dream, he flew around in the strike freedom during the day. At night, he was happy with a group of fair and smooth girls. I don't know how long it took. A series of knocks on the door woke Wang Chu up. Wang Chu immediately opened his eyes, held his breath, and walked slowly to the door. Through the cat's eye, it was Su Shi standing outside the door. Wang Chu opened the door and saw that the other party was carrying a bag of things. "Butler Su, what's up?" "Master Wang Chu, the master asked me to bring you something." After handing over the things, Su Shi left without looking back. "What Su Chun gave me." Wang Chu was stunned for a moment, then returned to the room and opened it. There were 6 bottles of nutrient solution flowing with strange energy, and next to it, there was an exquisite little box. "It seems that my father-in-law knew that I was going to get a few more bottles, so he sent them to me directly." Wang Chu grinned, put all the nutrient solution in the refrigerator, and then took out the exquisite little box in the corner of the bag. When he put it in his hand, a warm feeling was transmitted to Wang Chu's hand, and a trace of strange energy came out from it. "This is a box made of shoyu, specially used to store valuables. It can be placed in a shoyu box. This thing is definitely not simple, although I have never seen it before." But when he got it, Wang Chu immediately gently opened the box, and a crystal clear gem with strange brilliance was quietly placed in the box. Wang Chu's breathing stagnated instantly. The appearance of the gem in his hand directly matched the one in his mind. Fuck. Philosopher's Stone. This is something that Wang Chu could only see in textbooks and on the internet in the past. Philosopher's Stone is a rare item that can only be found in dungeons above level 6, or in Abyss dungeons above level 5. Using the Philosopher's Stone will give the pilot new passive skills. For example, passive skills like weapon expertise, or passive skills like strength bonus. This passive skill is a skill integrated into the pilot's body. Even if the exoskeleton mecha is activated, it can be perfectly applied. This Philosopher's Stone, at least 30 million Alliance coins, right? Not only that, there is no market for it, and you may not be able to buy it even if you have money. 30 millions Alliance coins. Wang Chu never dared to think about it. In the end, his father-in-law gave him 30 million? What a big deal. It turned out that the luckiest thing in his life was to be with a rich woman. Calm down. Wang Chu carefully took the Philosopher's Stone out of the box and pinched it between his fingertips. Squeeze it hard. The Philosopher's Stone broke apart and turned into colorful light, which began to interweave in the air. A few seconds later, under Wang Chu's nervous gaze, a ray of golden light stood out and poured into the spiritual pattern on the back of Wang Chu's left hand. Ding! Get the skill, Eye of the Abyss. Eye of the Abyss. Skill, quality, gold, skills. 1. Insight. Can see through the target's attributes and weaknesses and ignore the level difference. 2. Time sense. Other people's actions will slow down by 1 time in your eyes. Introduction. When you stare into the Abyss is also staring at you. Golden passive skill. Wang Chu forgot to breathe for a while. Absorbing the power of the Philosopher's Stone can randomly grant the pilot a skill, but it is the same as the module. There are white, green, blue, purple, and gold. Simply put, I have drawn an SSR. All this is possible for the probability of absorbing the Philosopher's Stone to obtain a gold quality skill. The official has never had an accurate data. The main reason is that the Philosopher's Stone is rare. Those pilots who have absorbed the Philosopher's Stone will not all jump out and say that they have absorbed the Philosopher's Stone. But some people estimate the probability of absorbing the Philosopher's Stone to obtain a gold skill is less than 0.5%. Wang Chu couldn't help but look at his panel again. That's right. There's only one exclusive ability, Saitama Constitution. If the panel is not deceptive, I would doubt whether I still have any Euro Emperor Constitution. Eye of the Abyss is really an epic enhancement for Wang Chu. Able to see through the opponent's attributes, and other people's actions will be slowed down in your eyes. A perfect practical skill. I originally planned to enter the Abyss dungeon to play the promotion match after waking up. Now it's easier with Eye of the Abyss. I must play the promotion match as soon as possible and break through the experience limit as soon as possible. Shaoking has already entered this morning. I have to hurry up. With the current attributes, entering the 0-level Abyss dungeon is a complete, crushing existence. Wang Chu immediately activated the star pattern. Soon, Wang Chu saw an exclamation mark in the lower left corner. That is the prompt to enter the Abyss dungeon. Suddenly, Wang Chu saw a trophy-like symbol and clicked it in. I almost forgot. There's a ranking list for the Abyss dungeon in the spirit pattern. Wang Chu clicked in. Abyss dungeon, basic trial. First place, Wang Chu SSS level. Second place, Bai Hao SS level. Third place. The ranking shows the top 50 in total, except for the first place Wang Chu, who is rated at SSS level. The other 49 people are all rated at SS level, and the second place, Bai Hao, is the strongest 8th level pilot in Daxia today. Chapter 27, as the strongest man in Daxia. Bai Hao has an honor in Daxia that no one has ever surpassed. That is the Grand Slam winner of the ranking list. Wang Chu clicked on the ranking list of the first level Abyss Dungeon. Abyss Dungeon, first level trial. First place, Bai Hao SSS level. Second place, SSS level. The first place is Bai Hao. Then, the ranking list of the second level, third level, all the way to the 8th level trial was opened. The first place is all Bai Hao, except for the SS level evaluation of the 0-level dungeon. The rest are all SSS level evaluation. However, his Grand Slam record was broken on the day Wang Chu obtained the SSS level evaluation. Wang Chu let out a long sigh. Because his appearance broke Bai Hao's monopoly for many years. The news on the internet these 2 days was overwhelming, all discussing him as a rising star. Wang Chu never cared, because he knows this is just the beginning. From today on, I will take the first place in every level of the Abyss trial. Many people are now waiting to see if this rising star can take the second first place. For Wang Chu, this is something that does not need to be considered at all. I want to top the list. I said it. Even Jesus can't stop me. Please choose the difficulty of the first level Abyss dungeon. Normal, difficult, nightmare, nightmare. Are you sure you want a nightmare difficulty of the Abyss dungeon? Yes. In the darkness, lines of white fonts appeared in front of him. Abyss dungeon, Forest of Elves, first level trial. Dungeon level, first level dungeon rating. Nightmare level, main quest. Find the source of the corruption of the world tree. Time limit. None. The breath of the abyss is getting stronger. In the elf forest, the elves began to discover that the world tree showed signs of corruption, and the elves fell into chaos. The darkness gradually dissipated. A warm feeling came to my heart. Where I was, there was another forest. Listen carefully, and there was a faint sound of cicadas. The world tree began to corrupt. It seems that the world view of this first level trial is the same as the basic trial, corrupted world tree. It may just be a different time node. Wang Chu activated the exoskeleton mecha and disappeared instantly. This kind of copy has no time limit. The speed of passing the level is also one of the most important scoring links. Successfully killed the crazy wind wolf, level 14. Spiritual pattern experience plus 280. Successfully killed the crazy little fire fox, level 15. Spiritual pattern experience plus 300. These ordinary monsters couldn't stand Wang Chu's casual punch at all, and they all turned into experience. But the more experience, the more distressed Wang Chu was. These are all overflowing experience, but you have to brush it. The number of monsters you brush is also one of the main scoring items. Not to mention that they can also explode first-level modules. Are they monsters? No, they're all my cute alliance coins. The trees became more and more dense, blocking the incoming sunlight. and the sky became much darker. Wang Chu felt that the abyss around him began to become stronger. Tisk, where's the elf forest? I haven't seen a long-legged elf sister for so long. There is no elf sister, but the elf ant is also fine. Just then, a roar shook the forest. Wang Chu's eyes lit up. The monsters that needed to be found everywhere. Now they were frightened by the roar and all rushed out. Ignoring the roar, Wang Chu stayed where he was, constantly killing the monsters that escaped. The monsters were constantly being killed. Occasionally, lights of various colors poured into Wang Chu's spiritual pattern. Suddenly, Wang Chu saw a golden light in his peripheral vision. Golden module. Wang Chu immediately entered the spiritual pattern to check. Firefox Cloak Multifunction Module. Level. First level, gold. Effect. Mecha Agility Attribute plus 150. Mecha Durability Consumption Speed plus 50%. Introduction. No buying and selling, no killing. It's a bit of a pity. It's a golden module, but there are no additional terms and skills. However, this golden module alone can be sold for 150,000 Alliance coins. The attributes of the first level module are 3 times that of the 0-level module. The price is also 3 times. This refers to the most common modules, and those with additional terms have a higher premium. Or it is said that wealth and honor are sought in danger. Go to more dungeons, and the money will come, right? Speaking of which, for Wang Chu, it is even more difficult to collect a set of golden first-level modules with attributes. A first-level golden module without attributes is 150,000. Even with the worst attributes, it costs 300,000 or more. According to the average price of 500,000 per module, a complete set of first-level golden modules will cost at least 3 million Alliance coins. This is not a price that Wang Chu can afford at all. Could it be? I have to rely on a rich woman again? I was not that kind of person before. As the monsters were cleared, the next target was the monster that just roared. It's been so long. Did the good guys win or the bad guys win? We have to go quickly, otherwise we won't be able to grab the last knife later. A roar of engines sounded, and the silver-white exoskeleton mecha disappeared instantly. Xiao, run quickly. Sister Ling, stop talking nonsense. That giant ape is catching up. In the woods, 2 agile figures jumped among the towering trees. Behind them, thick trees kept falling. Ho. A giant ape as tall as 2 stories let out an excited howl. The earth was shaking as it jumped. Xiao, the monsters in the elf forest are no longer something we can easily deal with. Go back and report to the queen. But, Sister Ling, be careful. The blonde Urza screamed in horror. Behind, the giant ape had already caught up with another female elf. Her petite body was too small compared to the huge giant ape. The female elf let out a cry and suddenly jumped up from the branch, with the power of wind condensed on her white thighs. The whip slammed on the giant ape. With a snap, the giant ape's body just shook twice and directly stretched out its right hand to grab the female elf's thigh. Sister Ling, Aluza shouted in panic. The silver-gray elf longbow in her hand was fully drawn in an instant. The majestic wind power lingered on the arrow. Powerful arrow. Boom. The arrow wrapped in silver energy broke through the air. The trees trembled, and the green leaves fell one after another. However, the seemingly powerful arrow could not change any situation at all. Clang! The arrow sparked on the skin of the black giant ape, whose skin was as hard as granite. The arrow, which was filled with the power of wind, finally only left a white mark on the arm of the black giant ape. No! A scream sounded, and the female elf called Ling Jie was torn in half by the black giant ape from both sides. Then, a crunching sound of chewing sounded. Aluza's hand holding the bow loosened involuntarily, and the whole person slumped on the ground in a daze. Bang! The giant ape is approaching. The terrible sense of oppression swept over the whole body, causing Urza to tremble involuntarily. Just then, a frivolous voice sounded. Hey, there really is an elf sister with long legs. Elf Urza, Chapter 28. Wang Chu raised his eyebrows when he saw the blonde girl slumped on the ground. Long and pointed ears, fair and delicate oval face, and golden hair that sparkled like a waterfall. Long and slender white legs were placed on the ground, revealing her delicate white feet. A light green tights squeezed out her A4 waist, and that was about to burst out. Damn, E-level strongman. This is the dream elf sister. Look at this posture. The bad guys are going to win. Wang Chu tried to move his eyes away from the elf for a second and glanced at the monster's attributes. Crazy Forest Giant Ape Elite. Level 18 of the first stage. Strength 550. Agility 400. Defense 500. Introduction. Likes to sing and dance. Yahoo! Skills: sing, dance, sing. After increase defense by 100 points, lasting for 10 seconds. Jump. After jumping, the next attack will increase strength by 50 points. Weakness: waist and abdomen. Level 18 elite monster. Nearly 500 average attributes, and also has skills. It should be considered one of the more powerful monsters in the first level Abyss copy. This Eye of the Abyss is quite useful. It's fine that it can see the skills of monsters, but it can also see weaknesses. It's simply an epic version enhancement. Urza looked at the strange comer, who suddenly broke in and was stunned for a moment. What appeared in front of her is a human. How could there be a human in the Forest of Elves? But he is indeed different from the elves, without pointy ears and black hair. However, he is not like ordinary humans, and he is wearing equipment that has never been seen before. But none of this matters. She said quickly, "Human, please leave the elf forest as soon as possible. This is no longer the elf forest of the past." Even at this time, she was still thinking about others. What a kind-hearted elf lady. Wang Chu sighed twice and used the Eye of the Abyss to check the attributes of the female elf in front of him. Name: Urza Elite. Level: First Order, level 14. Strength: 300. Agility: 320. Physique: 280. Spirit: 260. Skills: Binding Strike, Powerful Arrow, Wind Walk, Concentrated Firepower. Introduction: 8859, 84. Fuck. 8859, 84. This 88 girl. You. I'll protect you. 88? Urza hadn't figured out what this address was. The next second, her mouth opened wide, and her delicate face with tears was filled with an expression of disbelief. The forest giant ape jumped in the air, its huge body covering the sky and the sun, in order to find out the cause of the change in the world tree. The queen ordered 20 teams of 7 people to be dispatched. They were one of the teams. However, everything changed when they encountered the terrifying figure of the forest giant ape. In less than 5 minutes, the forest giant ape, which was in a state of madness, killed 6 of them. Only she was left alive. However, it was such a terrifying monster. It turned out, boom, the dark clouds covering the sky and the sun seemed to be dispersed by a shocking punch. The huge body of the forest giant ape was instantly hit hard by the terrifying force. Its abdomen was sunken. It bulged from the back. Then, like a cannonball, it was blown away. And the instigator of all this, the human male wearing strange equipment, did not even turn his head, but just casually swung his right fist. Are you surprised? Wang Chu smiled faintly at Urza's expression. He stretched out his right hand. Hello, let's get to know each other again. I am a god from the outside world who came to save you. The forest giant ape turned into a golden light and flowed into the spirit pattern. Another golden legend. While Urza was burying the bodies of her companions, Wang Chu took a look at the spirit pattern. Giant ape leg armor, right foot module. Level: First level gold. Effect: Mecha strength attribute plus 150, Mecha durability consumption speed plus 50%. Additional entry: Jump. The next attack will increase 50 points of strength. Introduction: I like to sing and dance rap. It is a golden module with additional attributes. Unfortunately, the level has not yet broken through to the first level, so the first level module cannot be worn. The elite monster exploded the golden module with additional attributes. Today's luck is really good. Urza was also busy. He walked over carefully and said, Lord God, I'm Fina. For this human who claims to be a god. Urza was puzzled. But the powerful strength and strange equipment shown by the other party are indeed different. Looking at the other party's nervous appearance, Wang Chu shook his head. Don't be so nervous. I'm a good person. Urza, I don't know if you're a good person, but I know you have been staring at my chest. Aware of Urza's eyes looking at a wretched uncle, Wang Chu coughed lightly and shifted his gaze. This elf girl is really nutritious. But right now, business is more important. I came here from another world to investigate the corruption of the world tree in the elf forest. Tell me what happened in the elf forest recently. Hearing Wang Chu say that he came here to investigate the corruption of the world tree, Urza's vigilance was mostly gone. The world tree is abnormal. Only the core figures of the elves and the captains of their 20 elite teams know. And Wang Chu, an outsider, actually knows whether the other party is a real God's messenger or the person behind the changes in the world tree. All she could do now is, Lord God's messenger. Aluza knelt down with a plop, crawled down, and looked up at Wang Chu. There were still traces of tears on her face that had not been wiped clean just now, adding a bit of charming charm. Please make sure to save the world tree. Save the elf forest. Wang Chu looked down at her and nodded. Elf girl, I heard your prayer. Ding, you have received the task. Prayer of the Elf Saint. Prayer of the Elf Saint. Complete the wish of the Elf Saint Urza and solve the root cause of the pollution of the world tree, and you will receive the blessing of the Elf Goddess. Elf Saint? This poor little elf on the ground is a saint? No? Who sent the Elf Saint out to die? Chapter 29. Slow down, slow down. Slow down. Ah! A burst of passionate screams came from the elf forest. Urza is responsible for the gotcha, and Wang Chu is responsible for the random killing. Holding Urza under his left armpit, he pushed forward all the way. No matter whether it is a small monster or an elite monster, it is a matter of one punch. Finally, all the monsters on the periphery have been cleared. Wang Chu breathed a sigh of relief. A total of more than 300 monsters were cleared. More than 40 modules exploded, but it was a pity that no golden ones were seen again. The current level is too low and there are no range skills. When it is modified later, it will be equipped with rocket launchers, particle cannons, and nugget rifles. So there's no need to run around like this. Are you elves so useless? You vomited now. Aluza was a little carsick and watered the flowers frantically. She didn't expect that the elves who jumped around in the forest every day would have this day. While vomiting, she was secretly shocked. The strength of this god's envoy is so terrifying. The monsters in the elf forest are not weak. After the mutation, each one becomes fierce and powerful. Take their team, for example. It can be said that it is one of the top teams among the 20 teams. Even so, they were still defeated when they met the forest giant ape. If it weren't for the appearance of God's envoy, they would have ended up being wiped out. And a monster as strong as the forest giant ape. Just now, the two of them encountered at least 4. Those were the existences that made her tremble all over before she even approached. Even so, they were still smashed by God's envoy with one punch. Have you finished vomiting? Urza supported the tree, looking embarrassed and nodded with difficulty. I'm fine. Let's go quickly. Urza didn't want to waste too much time because of herself. Just now, she saw many of her former companions, corpses along the way. Every minute is very urgent now. It concerns the survival of the elves. As we go deeper into the elf forest, the surrounding woods become more and more dense. But it is different from the imagined fairyland of the elves. There's a strange atmosphere everywhere. Urza's beautiful eyebrows frowned. She whispered, "Something is not right. It was not like this when I left this morning." Wang Chu felt it carefully. The surrounding abyss breath is thicker than just now. It seems that in just a short time, the pollution of the world tree has become more serious. Wang Chu asked, "How long will it take to reach your tribe?" Urza pondered for a moment and estimated. "At the speed you just went, it should be here in 20 minutes. 20 minutes? If you count the time to clear monsters, it will take a little longer. In order to ensure that you can take the first place in the ranking, every monster cannot be spared. Suddenly, a huge python shuttled through the woods and appeared in front of the two. Just look at the length. It is at least 50 meters long. The diameter is as thick as several buckets. The dark snake scales flashed coldly like armor, and the scarlet vertical pupils stared at the two people closely. Dark Elf's Abyss Snake, Elite, Level 1, Level 20, Strength, 650, Agility, 700 Defense, 600, Introduction. Dark Elf's favorite pet, thick and long. Skills, Poison Bite, Venom Spray, Death Coil, Weakness, Waist and Abdomen Level 1, Level 20 Elite Monster. About to break through to Level 2. Urza's face changed and blurted out. This is the pet of the Dark Elf. Is all this a conspiracy of the Dark Elite? Lord God, its weakness is the waist and abdomen. Wang Chu raises eyebrows. Dark Elf? I haven't heard this name for a long time. Just like the fantasy novels more than 10 years ago. Lord God, little. Urza hasn't finished her words yet. The person has disappeared on the spot. The body is flying in front, and the soul is chasing behind. Boom, a loud bang. The head of the abyss snake has been blown up. Weakness? No matter where the weakness is. Under absolute power, the whole body is weak. A golden light poured into the spirit pattern. Wang Chu glanced at Urza's expression. Sure enough, the NPCs here can't see the monsters turning into materials pouring into the spirit pattern. Unfortunately, this golden module has no additional entries. It can only be sold for money. Little what? Urza felt that she was being too sentimental. As expected, no matter how terrifying the monster is, it can be defeated by a punch in front of the Lord of God. Little, be careful. Don't get your hands dirty. Push forward all the way. It seems that the closer you get to the center, the more terrifying the breath of the abyss becomes. There are fewer and fewer monsters on the road. However, the levels of these monsters are getting higher and higher, even if they are not elite monsters. The levels of these monsters have reached level 18 and 19, which are very annoying, passing through the dense jungle. In the valley ahead, the surrounding mountain walls are covered with green vines and colorful wildflowers, and clear streams flow down the cliffs. Exquisite tree houses are built on huge towering trees, and the air is filled with a faint fragrance of flowers. We're here. Urza looked at the peaceful valley. She couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Wang Chu didn't expect it either. The atmosphere of the abyss outside is so strong, but here it is like a paradise. But, Wang Chu said lightly, don't you think it's too quiet? Eluza's face suddenly changed, and the mood that had just relaxed became tense again. Oh no, World Tree. Under Urza's guidance, Wang Chu came to a mountain wall. Then, she closed her eyes tightly, muttered something, and a green light covered the mountain wall. Bump up. Wang Chu bumped into it without hesitation. There was no feeling of collision with the mountain wall, but the mountain wall caused ripples. Behind the mountain wall, there is an independent space. Wang Chu said curiously, no wonder I didn't see the World Tree just now. It turned out to be a barrier. Eluza nodded, her face full of worry. I didn't see any tribesmen all the way here. The World Tree is not only the foundation for our elves to survive, but also the source of power for this continent. So, the World Tree has always been hidden in a place that no outsider knows. Standing at the entrance, not far away, an indescribable huge tree rose from the ground like a giant pillar and pierced the sky. The treetops were like a vast green sea of clouds, shining with emerald green. The branches stretched out like dragons and snakes, passing through the clouds and touching the stars. The sun poured down through the leaves and turned into countless bright beams of light, like golden silk threads interweaving between heaven and earth. Deeply rooted in the endless abyss, penetrating the shackles of time, the World Tree is the origin of life in this continent. Urza whispered aside, no matter how many times you see the World Tree, you will be shocked by the scene in front of you. But today's World Tree, it's a bit lively. Wang Chu smiled and said, Chapter 30 at this moment. In the vision of Wang Chu's Eye of the Abyss, the world tree not far away was emitting black smoke. Around the world tree, dozens of impressive abyss auras appeared. Based on the feeling of the abyss aura alone, the abyss monsters here are stronger than the elites we just encountered. Wang Chu commented in a low voice. Logically speaking, it is impossible for a first-level abyss copy to have a second-level abyss monster. Otherwise, the difficulty would be too high. According to this abyss aura, there are probably more than 21st-level abyss monsters above elite in front. But for me, they're not enough. Wang Chu turned his head and looked at Urza and said lightly, "It's very dangerous ahead. With your three-legged cat level, you should stay here." Urza heard it and said with a firm face, "No, my people are in front. I have sensed their aura." Wang Chu shrugged. "It's up to you." Anyway, to him, the elves in these dungeons are just NPCs, including Urza. The reason why I asked this just now is because after chatting for a while, I felt that the other party was a living NPC. Since she wants to follow, let's go together. As we go deeper and deeper, the breath of the abyss becomes more and more terrifying. Urza's delicate body began to tremble in Wang Chu's armpit. Wang Chu glanced at her. "It's still not too late to go back now." "No." Urza frowned slightly and bit her rosy lips. Before I could finish my words, the earth suddenly shook wildly. Wang Chu raised his eyebrows, and his legs tightened and exerted force instantly. Bang! Rocks flew. Wang Chu held Urza and jumped into the sky like a monkey. Urza looked down and found that Wang Chu had stepped on the ground to create a big hole. Then, a loud noise came from underground. A terrifying centipede with black jade feet broke through the ground and emerged from the ground with a nearly 100-meter-long body shaking. Urza trembled involuntarily as she looked at the three pairs of sharp, poisonous jaws in the centipede's huge mouth. If the two of them were still standing there just now, they have been swallowed by the centipede. Abyss Centipede Boss. Level 1, Level 20, Strength, 850 Agility, 800 Defense, 700 Introduction. It looks really disgusting. Skills: Shadow Stealth, Abyss Shock. Weakness: Head a Level 20. Level 1 Abyss Monster at the boss level. This attribute is completely better than those elite Level 20 Abyss monsters just now. It's worthy of being a nightmare-level Abyss copy. This attribute is enough to be the final boss in a difficult-level Abyss copy. Looking at the boss monster with such terrifying attributes, Wang Chu showed an excited smile. Of course, the more high-level Abyss monsters, the better. In this way, I could get a lot of gold coins. Urza screamed, because Wang Chu just jumped from the spot. At this moment, the two are hanging in the air, losing the fulcrum. What awaits them is a free fall. Urza closed her eyes tightly, and her long eyelashes were trembling constantly. Right below, a huge mouth of the abyss is waiting for the two of them. Roar! The abyss centipede roared and opened its mouth, and its bloodthirsty eyes revealed excitement. Wang Chu sneered. "Come and interrupt others' chats at will. Are you polite?" The next second, a palm with dragon scales blew directly towards the head of the centipede. Dragon Claw. Launch. Next attack. Double the power. Give me a lot of gold coins. Pop. A shocking big bang. Directly eclipsed the world of the abyss centipede. Before dying, it finally felt what it meant to be a palm from the sky. Boom. The terrifying force began to pass along the joints of the abyss centipede. The driving force continued to swell up. The next second, the nearly 100-meter-long body of the abyss centipede exploded. The smelly black blood turned into rain, pouring on the lawn within a radius of 100 meters. The lawn made a sizzling sound. A golden light poured into Wang Chu's spiritual pattern. Successfully killed the abyss centipede. Boss. Level 20. Spiritual pattern experience plus 1,200. Obtain module. Centipede Fong. Weapon module. Wang Chu landed steadily on the ground. He pulled up a thick tree trunk to block the rain above his head. Urza, who was caught in the armpit, was dumbfounded. This is too damn. Is that an exaggeration? Remember holding an umbrella? Elegant. So elegant. Wang Chu casually glanced at the golden module that exploded in the spirit pattern. Centipede Fong Blade, weapon module. Level 1 gold. Effect, Mecha Strength Attribute plus 300, Mecha Durability Consumption Speed plus 50%. Additional term, Poisoning Attack with Toxins. Introduction, my knife is a poisonous blade coated with poison. Slurp, golden module. It's still a golden module with additional terms. It's just, this additional term doesn't seem to be useful. Wang Chu is a little speechless. It's rare to explode a golden module with additional terms, but it's a garbage term. However, it's better to have it than not. At least it can sell more Alliance coins. Pa pa pa. Just then, a crisp applause sounded. Wang Chu looked over in the direction of the sound. A figure was leaning against a big tree, looking at Wang Chu and clapping softly. Urza blurted out, "It's the Dark Elf." Then, she seemed to find that she was still stuck in her armpits, a little embarrassed, and began to struggle. "Let me down." Urza stood firm, snorted lightly, and looked at the Dark Elf in the shadows coldly. Wang Chu shrugged. "Now you feel embarrassed? So this is the female?" However, the Dark Elf wearing a black tights and a pair of deep purple eyes did not look at her. Instead, he kept staring at Wang Chu. Wang Chu activated Eye of the Abyss and looked over. Dark Elf Queen Irene Divine Envoy Lord. Level 1. Level 20. Strength 1,600. Agility 1,200. Defense 1,000. Introduction. Divine Envoy under the Spider Goddess. Skills. Weakness. Divine Envoy? Wang Chu's pupils suddenly shrank. This was a suffix he had only seen in books before. There are gods in the abyss. That is the most cutting-edge and terrifying existence in the Abyss Pyramid, and the Dark Elf in front of him turned out to be the Spider Goddess Divine Envoy for this kind of existence, described in the book. If you meet them before the 5th level, then run. I have to say that she gives people a full sense of oppression. You can see it from her panel. Under the dungeon suppression, her attributes, which were only level 20 of the first stage, were already better than the Goblin King of the level 21 boss of the second stage. And the skills and weaknesses she possessed, even the golden Eye of the Abyss could not see through. This is the power of the messenger of God. You defeated my pet so easily. You are worthy of being the owner of absolute overclocking. She actually knew absolute overclocking. Wang Chu narrowed his eyes and said coldly, "So, you are coming for me?" Erin's mouth corners slightly raised, outlining a charming arc. She smiled and nodded, and the heavy fruit greeted Wang Chu. "Hee hee, I'm here to give you a gift." Gift? Wang Chu didn't understand what she meant. A prompt sounded. "Ding, you have been cursed by the Spider Goddess. Rapid decline. Curse? Damn, no martial ethics. We haven't even talked for a few words, and you're already doing something sinister?" Wang Chu couldn't help but curse. "Fuck you." Halfway through the curse, Wang Chu caught a glimpse of the content of the curse with his peripheral vision, and the words on his lips were held back. Wait, this curse. Rapid decline. Eternal curse mecha durability consumption speed plus 1,000%. Huh. Increased durability consumption speed? Fuck you. Thank you. Chapter 31, thank you. You are so polite. Irene's face turned sour. However, the smile will not disappear. It just moved to Wang Chu's face. Irene looked at Wang Chu, who was laughing at something, and snorted. "It's the end of the road. I hope you can still laugh later." Source of darkness. She shouted. The terrifying breath of the abyss rushed straight to the sky. Dozens of black figures suddenly rushed out from the shadows of the woods, sweeping towards Wang Chu like an overwhelming wave. Irene hid behind a group of abyss monsters and sneered at Wang Chu. Although she is only at level 20 of the first level due to the level suppression of the copy. But she is a god's messenger. Even if it is level 20 of the first level, the attributes are also overwhelming. Not to mention that in order to kill the owner of absolute overclocking with absolute suppression, she also brought a large group of younger brothers with her. But she didn't understand why the Spider Goddess attached so much importance to the man in front of her. She was sent to clear the target at the 0 stage. Isn't it just the SSS level, absolute, overclocking, courtship module? Although there are not many pilots with it, it is not unprecedented. In order to increase the success rate, the Spider Goddess even personally gave her a trace of curse power. That is the curse that the owner of absolute overclocking fears the most. Rapid decline. Is it necessary? Goddess, let me, Irene, your most loyal believer, clear all obstacles in front of you. Irene smiled ferociously in place. On the other side, you stay away. Wang Chu just turned his head to ask Urza to stay away. Then he found that she had slipped away. A cute little head popped out from behind a tree trunk. Wang Chu, look at you, you are such a coward. Aren't you the saint of the elves? I am not a coward. Aluza puffed up her cheeks fiercely. I just don't want to cause you trouble and be a burden. Wow, she's quite self-aware. Wang Chu raised his eyebrows. From the time he met forest giant ape Urza and asked him to run, he knew that she was definitely not the kind of person who would live in humiliation. Although she followed him, she was in danger. She ran pretty fast. She is not the kind of woman who rushes in without thinking. Be careful, Aluza shouted with a change of expression. At this moment, the abyss monsters of various shapes have surrounded them. Wang Chu casually glanced at the abyss monster that rushed to the front. Blackthorn Giant, boss, level 1, level 20, strength, 1080, dark source increases ability by 20%, agility, 720, dark source increases ability by 20%, defense, 1080, dark source increases ability by 20%. Introduction, a giant covered with sharp black thorns. Skills, abyssal shock, hardening, weakness, steel door, like the abyssal centipede just now, is also a level 1, level 20 boss monster. Look at the other abyss monsters. They're all level 1, level 20 boss monsters. The difference is, these boss-level abyss monsters are all under the buff of Dark Source. Irene does have the capital to be arrogant. With this group buff, she will become a nightmare of many pilots. But if that's all you can do, Wang Chu's eyes passed through the fierce abyss monsters and stared straight at Irene, who was standing at the back. Then, you will die here today, Irene snorted coldly. Don't overestimate your abilities. Young man, first get past these cute pets of mine. Roar! Blackthorn Giant roared. The earth kept shaking. Its body, like a small mountain, jumped high, and a pair of thick black thorn arms were raised above its head. The first thing that came out was its most powerful skill, Abyss Shock. Facing this blow, Wang Chu jumped up and punched out with his right fist. Dragon Claw activated. Do you understand the value of 2,800 points of strength? Boom! Wang Chu's size compared to Blackthorn Giant is like a baby. But the two sides only saw each other for a moment. Blackthorn Giant. The body formed by black thorns was blown away in an instant. It stuck straight into the ground, with its 4 legs facing the sky. Next, Abyss monsters kept rushing up. Abyss Stone Statue Ghost. Abyss Devouring Beast. Corrupted Silkworm. They looked fierce as they howled and rushed forward. However, one after another of the Abyss monsters could not withstand the power of Wang Chu's punch. They turned into lights of various colors and poured into Wang Chu's spiritual patterns. Irene narrowed her purple eyes and looked at Wang Chu, who was punching a small monster. As expected of absolute overclocking, it's really powerful. No wonder the Spider Goddess asked her to come to the novice village to block people. These abyss monsters, which seemed to be useless after being punched by Wang Chu, were actually carefully selected by her and had terrifying dominance at this stage. But even so, none of them were a match for the owner of absolute overclocking in front of him. But so what? You will definitely die today, Irene said to herself with a cruel smile on her delicate face. I wonder how long your shabby mecha can last. The effect of absolute overclocking is terrifying. Terrifying attributes, enough to sweep all abyss copies. However, its biggest weakness is durability. No matter how tough you are, what's the use? Lack of durability is a flaw after all, and these little brothers brought here are the best choice to consume durability. Not to mention that they were cursed with rapid decline just now. Bang! Urza hid behind the trees, watching the battle nervously. At first, she was worried that she would be taken hostage to influence the choice of the Lord God. But as the battle became more and more intense, she found that she thought too much. No one paid any attention to her at all. Those terrifying abyss monsters rushed towards the Lord God one after another, and the back of the Lord God's messenger was as heroic as the invincible Lord God of war. Lord God, you are so strong. Her eyes were already full of admiration. Suddenly, a series of sporadic sounds rang out. Kacha, however, it was this sound that Urza caught. Something is wrong. Urza's face changed, and a light flashed in her head, and a possibility suddenly emerged. It turns out that the opponent's target is the equipment on Lord God. Lord God's equipment is about to break down. In the center of the battlefield, the exoskeleton armor on Wang Chu began to crack, and cracks spread on it. The next second, the zero exoskeleton armor shattered. Irene's eyes widened, and a blush appeared on her delicate face. Finally, I waited for your armor to explode. Chapter 32. Wang Chu let out a comfortable moan from his throat. He twisted his neck slightly, making a creaking sound. This is the feeling of power. So cool. No matter how many times he activated the last ripple, this feeling of coolness would go straight to his head. Strength, 2,800. Agility, 1,600. Physique, 1,700. Spirit, 1,800. It's a pity that the time to obtain Saitama's physique is still too short. It will take some time to settle down, and it will take daily accumulation. Looking at his own attributes, Wang Chu shook his head somewhat unsatisfied. However, compared to these bastards, it's more than enough. On the other side, Irene looked at Wang Chu, who had completely lost his exoskeleton mecha form, and couldn't help but be stunned. Strange? Why is he laughing? All the human pilots she had killed in the past, all of them showed a look of despair after losing their mechas. Some pilots even committed suicide directly, unwilling to accept the reality they were about to face. It's just a struggle before death. She shook her head, thinking that she was just overthinking. All creatures in the abyss know how fragile the human body is. They are just a bunch of trash who can only rely on mechas. Little black and little yellow. Tear him apart. Irene immediately ordered. Swish. As soon as the voice fell, an arrow broke through the air, carrying a powerful wind element and sweeping towards the abyss monster in the front. Lord God, run. Urza had already run out from behind the tree without knowing when. Her expression was a little panicked, and her hands kept the posture of drawing the bow. Her fair and delicate hands trembled slightly. She was afraid. However, the powerful attack she unleashed with all her strength was in vain, leaving only a small cut on the skin of the abyss monster. The black, abyss demon dog snorted as if mocking. Even the dark elf Queen Irene was amused. With a puff, she laughed so hard that her body shook. She lightly covered her red lips and raised her eyebrows. You elves are really stupid and cute. With your little ability, you still want to be a hero? Send. Urza frowned, her voice trembling and weakly counterattacked. Aren't you also an elf? As she spoke, she also winked at Wang Chu frantically. But the latter seemed to not understand what she meant and stood still. She was so angry. This Lord Messenger of God doesn't know how to run? How stupid. Wang Chu looked at her eyelids straining, scratched his head, and asked, What's wrong? Is your eyelid cramp? Irusa. Aaron sneered. It's because you're all a bunch of hopelessly stupid people that you have ended up like this today. Forget it. You guys don't understand. So just go on your way. Little black, little yellow, hurry up. Roar, the two abyss demon dogs of different colors showed bloodthirsty smiles, and their paws puffed and ran faster and faster. In the blink of an eye, they arrived in front of Wang Chu. However, facing the two fierce beasts, Wang Chu looked indifferent. Then, he suddenly swung his fist forward. This punch was extremely fast, and the power exploded. The terrifying fist force directly detonated the air, exploding like thunder in the ears of several people. Bang! The bodies of the two giant beasts collapsed in the air. Irene looked at this scene in horror, completely unable to understand. How is this possible? The pilot who lost the mecha is obviously the meat on the plate. But now the meat jumped up and was ready to slap her face. Wang Chu shook his arm and shook off the smelly black blood on it with disgust. He was already half stained with the blood of the two abyss monsters. Alas, if it is not necessary, I really don't want to open the muscle lock. Wang Chu sighed. The sticky blood sprayed on the body. It was uncomfortable. It's better to activate the exoskeleton mecha. There is a barrier to block the blood. Then, Wang Chu turned his head and looked at Irene. The blood began to flow down his cheeks, as if he just crawled out of hell. It's your turn. His eyes were like looking at a dead person. Irene's breathing stagnated. She suddenly felt her heart beating wildly faster. This was a fear that she had never felt even when facing a 7th or 8th level pilot. No, this is not absolute overclocking. What kind of core chip module are you? As a messenger of God, she shuttled through various abyss copies. Countless pilots died at her hands. However, this was the first time she met a pilot whose flesh was even more outrageous than the exoskeleton mecha. Can you still call this a pilot? The next second, Wang Chu's terrifying breath has arrived. His face was indifferent, and a hint of ridicule appeared at the corner of his mouth. Guess. Erin is a battle-hardened messenger of God, after all. She reacted immediately and clasped her white hands together. Touch of shadow. A series of black tentacles condensed by energy suddenly sprang out from the ground and spread towards Wang Chu. Fancy, Wang Chu commented. Then he slapped it. The tentacles were blown up by a slap. Erin's pupils suddenly shrank, and she couldn't understand the scene in front of her at all. How the hell is this possible? Her body retreated quickly. However, the attribute that the god's messenger was proud of seemed to have lost its advantage at this moment. Wang Chu's eyes, without any emotion, appeared less than 1 meter away from her. Irene opened her cherry lips and just uttered a word. Boom! The thunder exploded again. The air beside Irene's ears was blasted by the terrifying force, and ripples continued to spread out. The world was spinning. Irene felt a little strange. Why is my body getting farther and farther away from me? No, that's right. My head flew off. Snap! The delicate face of the dark elf Queen Irene rolled on the ground for several times, and her originally beautiful black hair was covered with dust. Her eyes widened, and her eyes were full of confusion before death. Didn't I come to the novice village to bully the weak? Why is the result different? Damn it! Damn it! If it weren't for the first level copy restricting me, how could I? Her world fell into darkness. Wang Chu sighed. You've been bragging for a long time, but you're not even close. Looking at the panel full of question marks, I thought I could hold on for a while. But that's it. A series of prompts sounded. Successfully killed the dark elf Queen Irene, the envoy, Lord, level 20, spiritual pattern experience, plus 4,800. Obtain module, Dark Elf Queen's whip, weapon module. Obtain materials, Dark Elf Queen's original high silk, special item. Obtain materials. Token of the Spider Goddess's envoy, special item. Obtain materials, Dark Elf Queen's heart, gold quality. Ding, you killed the Spider Goddess's envoy, attracting the attention of the Spider Goddess. Ding, under the gaze of the Spider Goddess. You get the curse, abyss restriction. Wang Chu had several question marks on his head. No, what the hell is original high C? Chapter 33, the black high C was still warm in his hand. Original high C of the Dark Elf Queen. Special item, it has a certain collection value. Maybe someone will like it. Who would like it? Wang Chu glanced at the headless corpse next to him. The pair of slender, white, and tender long legs were straight. Well, the legs are good, but it's a pity. Ahem. Wang Chu shook his head and threw away the weird thoughts. These props are not the key. The key is, I have been cursed again. Abyss restriction. Eternal curse, you are targeted by the Spider Goddess, and the experience points obtained in the Abyss dungeon are reduced by 50%. Godfathers, don't spray. This curse will be solved in the next chapter. If you're targeted by the Spider Goddess, then you are targeted. Dare to come? then I will punch her down. But abyss restriction is not like rapid weakness, which looks like a huge weakening, but has no effect on oneself. Reduces experience points by 50%, a real huge weakening. If you want to solve this curse, you can only rely on Urza's task. Wang Chu thought of the task he just received from Urza. Prayer of the Elf Saint. Complete the wish of the Elf Saint Urza. Solve the root of the pollution of the world tree, and you will receive the blessing of the Elf Goddess. The Elf Goddess and the Spider Goddess are both goddesses. Maybe she can solve her own curse. But I have killed the Dark Elf Queen Irene, but the task has not been completed yet. Wang Chu entered the spirit pattern and took a look. Main task: find the root of the corruption of the world tree. Well, if I remember correctly, the Dark Elf Queen Irene just said that she came to find me specially. If that's the case, then her appearance can only be regarded as a regional emergency task, which has nothing to do with the main storyline. The one who caused the world tree to corrupt is someone else. Thinking of this, Wang Chu turned his head and looked at Urza. At this time, the latter was looking at him with a weird look. Why is she staring at his hand? Damn, don't get me wrong. Wang Chu immediately put the Dark Elf Queen's High C into the spirit pattern. He was not interested in this so-called original High C, but it can't be said that this is a special prop, and it may trigger some key tasks in the future. Urza looked at Wang Chu with more and more weird eyes. The action of putting away the props seemed to deepen the misunderstanding. Lord God's messenger, I didn't expect you. Wang Chu interrupted directly. Don't talk. The pollution of the world tree in the dungeon is not over yet. Let's hurry over there. Speaking of the world tree, Urza's expression suddenly became serious. The closer you get to the world tree that stands between heaven and earth, an indescribable shock surges like a tide. The treetops cover the sky and the sun, and it is vast and boundless. What kind of change can pollute this existence? Wang Chu murmured to himself. Urza said, We're almost there, climbing over a small hill. What comes into view is an endless grassland, and the trunk of the world tree is so thick that it is jaw-dropping. Countless swirling and spreading roots are deeply rooted in the earth. Wang Chu held Urza and jumped down from the hill. With a bang, he stood steadily on the lawn. The more than 20 abyss monsters and the Dark Elf Queen were eliminated, and the abyss aura nearby has been weakened a lot. As they got closer, Urza's eyes lit up and she tried to struggle down. It's the queen. However, Wang Chu held her tightly and didn't let her down. Then, Wang Chu sneered. Is this your queen? It seemed a little different from what you described. Not far away, a figure came into view. It was a tall and elegant elf woman. She had a delicate face, fair skin, and a faint smile on her face, as if she had an endless love for life. However, Wang Chu could see it clearly under the eye of the abyss. Fallen Elf Queen Aina, Lord, Level 18, Strength 1200, Agility 1000, Defense 1000. Introduction: an elf leader who was bewitched by the abyss and lost in the pursuit of power. Skills: Natural Resonance, Moonlight Blessing, Element Control, Natural Shield Weakness. Lower abdomen. So, the Elf Queen is the root cause of the world tree being polluted by the abyss. At this time, even if no matter how dumb Luso was, she knew what had happened. As a saint who often came into contact with the queen, she could see clearly that the queen's aura had changed. And the reason why they sent 20 teams out to find the source of the pollution was perhaps just to get rid of the elites in their tribe. Urza tried hard not to let her tears flow out. Her body trembled slightly, and she asked with difficulty, Why? The Elf Queen still smiled. Silly child. The Elf Goddess has abandoned us. We haven't received the oracle of the Elf Goddess for hundreds of years. Urza's eyes widened slightly. How could it be? The Elf Goddess abandoned us? So, I just wanted to lead the tribe to find another way out. What did I do wrong? Aina lowered her eyebrows, her long eyelashes trembling, as if she was confessing. You lied. Wang Chu stepped forward and said lightly, Where did the fairy come from? Are you talking nonsense in front of my eye of the abyss? You're just an elf lost for your own selfish interests. Why do you have such a big banner? And for the tribe? Bah, Why are you pretending to be a kind-hearted female bodhisattva? Aina raised her drooping eyebrows and whispered, Iluza, who is this? Iluza was about to speak. Wang Chu's figure has already risen. In an instant, the grass on the grassland drooped, forming waves visible to the naked eye that spread to both sides. I am your father. Wang Chu's right palm has already knocked on Aina's delicate face. Then, bang, a loud bang. The head of the elf queen Aina was directly pressed into the lawn. A deep pit was blown out. You like to pursue power, right? I'll show you what power is. Boom. Just one time. Aina's face was covered with blood and flesh, and she rolled her eyes wildly in this severe pain. The second blow, Aina's head was like a smashed watermelon. Wang Chu slowly stood up and shook the blood off his hands. I respect you as a man. You didn't say a word when I hit you so hard. They met for less than a minute. In a flash, Wang Chu had killed the fallen elf queen in an instant. Urza opened her red lips slightly. Didn't say a word? Is there a possibility that she had fainted when you hit her for the first time? Chapter 34 successfully killed the fallen elf queen Aina. Lord, level 18. Spiritual pattern experience plus 2,160. Obtain module. Elf Queen's Crown, multi-function module. Obtain materials. Elf King's Token, special item. Obtain materials. Elf Queen's Heart, gold quality. Ding, you have completed the task. Elf Saint's Prayer. Please explore the blessing from the elf goddess. Wang Chu wanted to curse. Can you stop being a Riddler? You have completed the Abyss Dungeon quest. Why are you still standing here? Lord God's envoy. Iluza walked over slowly and took a deep look at the queen on the ground for the last time. Wang Chu shrugged. Why? I killed the queen of your elves. Do you want to avenge her? Of course not. Urza shook her head gently. When she betrayed the elf goddess, she was no longer our king. Thank you, God's messenger. Iluza was a little embarrassed when she said this. She didn't realize that an unknown emotion had already sprouted in her heart. The scene fell into silence. Wang Chu was thinking about how to get the blessing of the elf goddess. He looked around and finally locked his eyes on the world tree. Perhaps the world tree is the final answer. Wang Chu walked towards the world tree, and Urza saw this and followed him lightly. The wind blew gently, and the leaves rustled. When he got closer, Wang Chu found that the trunk of the world tree revealed a strange brown-red color. It seemed to be stained red by blood, red to black. No wonder I haven't seen a single elf. It turns out that they are all in here. Wang Chu laughed and told a hell joke. Then, Wang Chu gently raised his hand and placed it on the world tree. Boom! The moment Wang Chu touched the world tree, everything around him suddenly turned blank. The grassland had disappeared. In exchange, a world full of blankness. Urza looked around and said in surprise, Where is this? Wang Chu raised his eyebrows, and she actually followed him in. Just then, a soft and sacred light slowly rose from the depths of the blank world, gradually lit up this void. In a light that was not dazzling but very holy, a woman with a graceful figure and extraordinary temperament slowly appeared. Goddess! Urza saw this scene and blurted out with wide eyes. Then she knelt down with a plop and prostrated herself on the ground. This is the belief she has pursued all her life. Wang Chu nodded secretly. When he stepped into this blank world, he had anticipated this result. Otherwise, there is no way to explain why the blessing of the elf goddess is there. Welcome, Lord Wang Chu. The goddess, wearing a long, glittering dress and a wreath made of natural elements, said. Her voice was as clear and pleasant as a mountain spring. Wang Chu said calmly, Since you know my name, you also know what I am here for. At the same time, Wang Chu activated the Eye of the Abyss, a series of question marks. Nothing can be seen. The elf goddess smiled and nodded, and seemed not angry at Wang Chu's visit. The Abyss is already everywhere in this world. In order to resist the erosion of the Abyss, we gods have to fall into a deep sleep to preserve our strength to fight against the Abyss. And the Abyss also took advantage of this time to start a massive invasion of various planes. The elf goddess told a long series of stories. For Wang Chu, it doesn't matter. He has been in the online literary circle for more than 10 years. What plots and stories have you not seen? It sounds good. To save strength to resist the abyss. Then where were you when your believers were in danger? However, Urza, a simple elf, was stunned by the deception. It turns out that the goddess didn't want them anymore. It's not easy for her. Wang Chu sai seto li. Beautiful women are really good at lying. To thank Lord Wang Chu. Here it comes. Wang Chu finally cheered up when he heard the key words. I give you the blessing of the goddess of elves. A reminder sounded. Ding, you get the blessing of the goddess of elves. Ding, rapid decline. Abyss restriction changes. Wang Chu immediately opened the spirit pattern to check. Rapid decline. Eternal curse, blessing of the goddess of elves, mecha strength, speed, and defense attributes increase 500%. Mecha durability consumption speed plus 1000%. Abyss restriction, eternal curse, elf goddess blessing, mecha strength, speed, and defense attributes increase by 500%, and the experience points obtained in the Abyss dungeon are reduced by 50%. Curse blockade. The part that weakens the curse has not changed. Instead, the part that belongs to the blessing of the elf goddess has been added. The elf goddess's apologetic voice came to my ears. I'm sorry, Lord Wang Chu. The divine power required to remove the curse is much greater than the divine power required to impose the curse. With the divine power of my current clone, I can only help you temporarily block the effect of one of the curses. She bowed gently, and her apology was full of sincerity. Wang Chu's eyes were straight. He is really not that kind of person. You know, once the eye tracker is installed, every man is the same. So, I took the initiative to bless both of your curses and then helped you seal the curse of Abyss Forbidden. Wang Chu, bad news. The curse of Abyss Forbidden is still there. Good news, the curse is there, but it is sealed and ineffective. And because there is one more curse, it is equivalent to one more blessing. You are really an F5. This goddess, you don't want other goddesses to know about your useless things. Lord Wang Chu, in order to compensate you, there is another reward. Hearing that there is another compensation, Wang Chu's face looked better. The elf goddess raised her tender hand. In Urza's surprised expression, a stream of essence of energy was directly injected into her body. Maimon. Urza felt that she had become different. On the other side, Wang Chu heard a new prompt sound. Ding, you have obtained the ownership of the elf holy sword. Ding, you have bound to the elven holy sword. Elf holy sword? Where is the holy sword? Elf holy sword. Urza bound. Quality. Rainbow color. Level. 0 level. Effect. All attributes plus 500. Additional entries. Never worn, will not be damaged by battle. Enemy destroying. Each time an enemy is killed. All attributes plus 1. Upper limit 500. Adaptive automatically adapt to the level of the binder. Mimicry can adapt to all forms of weapons. Introduction. You have absolute control over the elven holy sword, but you always hear an inexplicable gasp when holding it in your hand. Fuck. Urza actually became a special weapon, and it's a special weapon with 4 entries, and it's a rainbow-colored special weapon. This quality of modular equipment is the first time I've heard of it. The development has exceeded Wang Chu's imagination. Looking at Urza's confused face, the method of use naturally appeared in his mind. Then, Wang Chu stretched out his hand. Target. Big Thunder. Chapter 35. The thunder emitted a strong and dazzling light. As expected of a saint, the holy light is so fierce. Wang Chu's face remained unchanged, and he took a step forward. Then, his right hand seemed to hold something and suddenly pulled it out. Clang. An exciting sword sound rushed straight into the sky. The entire blank world even trembled. After the sword sound, a long sword as thin as a cicada's wing and about 4 feet long appeared in Wang Chu's hand. A faint light seemed to flow on the sword tip. Urza had disappeared from a spot and turned into the elf holy sword. Is this my special weapon? A faint sound came from the hilt. Sure enough, the abyss is true to me. While holding the elf holy sword, Wang Chu felt that his own attributes had risen a lot. Strength, 3,300. Agility, 2,100. Physique, 2200. Spirit, 2300. Holding a special weapon in the flesh can actually increase my attributes. Wang Chu's eyes lit up. This is a pleasant surprise. After all the modules in this world are derived from mechas and exoskeleton mechas. All those attributes are added to mechas. There are very few modules that can directly increase character attributes. But I don't know how to use a sword. Afraid of stabbing myself, the thought flashed through my mind. The mimicry effect of the elf holy sword is activated. The 4-foot-long sword emitted a burst of light, and in a few breaths it turned into a green finger sleeve. Wang Chu picked up the finger sleeve with his left hand, stretched it, and squeezed his hand in. This boxing glove is a bit tight. Wang Chu stretched it hard and stuffed it into the finger sleeve. The feel is really good. Very tough. At the same time, because of the adaptive feature, the finger sleeve quickly adapted and became the size of Wang Chu. A strange sound became louder. The finger sleeve is like this. What about the cup? Ahem. Wang Chu raised his head and looked at the elf goddess with a serious face. Goddess, everyone has the responsibility to resist the abyss. As for the curse, I will not bother you, goddess. When I meet the spider goddess, I will personally blow up her dog head and let her absorb the curse. Remove it with this special weapon. What is the curse? This wave of small profits. Elf goddess, who just said that I didn't use it. She had never seen such a shameless person. Lord Wang Chu. Urza is the last surviving elf in this world. I hope you treat her well. After that, the figure of the elf goddess slowly dissipated. The last elf. Treat her well. Wang Chu fell silent. Why does it sound like he is shouldering the mission of continuing the elves? Continue? How to continue? Wang Chu blushed and quickly removed Urza from the elf holy sword form. It's all Urza's strange voice that is affecting me. A white figure appeared in the same place. Urza's legs softened and she sat on the ground. The transformation seemed to consume a lot of energy, and she was panting lightly. Wang Chu took a look and couldn't take his eyes off. The golden hair was stuck to the forehead because it was soaked with sweat. The soft long hair went down along the beautiful collarbone and went straight into the ravine. No, you also exploded the armor? And it was a big blow. Ah, Urza exclaimed and put her hands in a bow position. No, you can't cover it up. Lord God, don't. Wang Chu turned around. He reached into his pocket, and something was sticking in his pocket. After a rustling sound, Urza seemed to take out spare clothes from the space props and put them on. At this moment, the surroundings began to change. Then, a wave of darkness came like a tide. Ding! Complete the first level trial, Elf Forest Nightmare level. Evaluation, SSS, obtain props. Fresh World Tree Branches, gold. Obtain materials. First level Power Gems, gold. Obtain modules. Elf Cloak, multi-function module. After the copy settlement is completed. Another series of prompts sounded. Ding! You have successfully completed the first level Abyss copy, and the level has been upgraded. Ding! The module has been absorbed. The power is permanently increased by 600, and the additional entry, Dragon Power, Dragon Claw. Ding! Your Zero Mech has broken through to the first stage, level 1012, and you have obtained 100 free attribute points. Ooh! Wang Chu let out a long sigh, and when he opened his eyes again, he was back in the room. Wang Chu didn't hear the series of prompts clearly, but what he knew clearly was he had become stronger again. Checking the spirit pattern, the attributes at this time had undergone earth-shaking changes compared to the Zero stage, level 10. Mecha, Type 0 Mecha, Exoskeleton Mecha, Core Chip Module, Absolute Overclocking Gold, Weapon Module, None, Left Limb Module, Right Limb Module, Left Foot Module, Right Foot Module, a Multi-Function Module, Unlevel, First Level, Level 12/0/3000, Strength, 6,400, 5,200 plus 600 plus 600. Agility, 5,600, 5,200 plus 400. Defense, 5,200. Free attribute points, 100. Durability, not activated. Consumption speed plus 2,000%. Additional entries. Dragon Power increases damage to dragon attribute monsters by 40%. Dragon Claw. After activating the Dragon Claw, The next attack will cause 2 times the damage. Other states, rapid decline. Abyss restriction, my attributes are already better than many second-level pilots. Wang Chu didn't seem too excited when he saw the attributes on his panel. After all, it was completely expected that this panel attribute would be there. When the Zero-type mecha was at the 0 level, it started with an average attribute of 20 points. Every level up, all attributes increased by 3 points, and 5 free attribute points were obtained. When the Zero-type mecha was promoted to the 1st level, all attributes rose to 200 points, and every level up, all attributes increased by 30 points, and 50 free attribute points were obtained. The purple core chip module with the largest attribute multiplier generally increases by 500%. When those pilots first entered the 1st level, all attributes should start at 1,000 points. And mine started at 4,000 points. Adding the 60 points of all attributes obtained from level 10 to level 12, under the effect of 2,000%. All attributes increased by 1,200 points. This bonus is simply too abnormal. There are 100 free attribute points. After adding all of them to the strength points at once, the strength attribute has reached a terrifying 8,400 points. Wait, Wang Chu suddenly found something in the corner of his eye. LV2. What LV2? Hidden ability. Last Ripple. LV2. When a mecha is damaged in battle, it will contribute the Last Ripple, which will increase the strength of the body by 200 times. Last for 24 hours. Fuck. The Last Ripple can actually be upgraded with the improvement of the pilot's rank. This time Wang Chu is really awesome. It's out of this world. Bang! Just when Wang Chu was about to take a look at the other modules and materials that exploded in the copy, something fell to the ground and made a sound. Wang Chu looked up. At the table, Urza showed a silly expression and raised her little hand to knock on her head. Hey, Chapter 36, I almost forgot that there was a useless elf following me back. Since the elf Holy Sword was transformed by Urza, and the elf Holy Sword is my exclusive weapon, then it is reasonable for Urza to follow me. Urza seemed to have forgotten what happened just now, and said a little embarrassedly, "The place where the Lord God lives is so magical. I have never seen these things." Wang Chu shrugged, picked up the thing she dropped on the ground, and said, "This is a kettle for boiling water. That is a rice cooker for cooking. And that is... Lord God, this cup is so strange, it's soft. That is Fei. Don't rummage through other people's things." Wang Chu wiped the sweat off his forehead and put the little secret back under the bed. "I was ventilating it after cleaning it a few days ago, and I forgot to put it away. They are all worthless things. You can play with them casually. Don't touch the things under the bed. Don't touch them." Aluzo looked around like a curious baby. Taking advantage of this time, Wang Chu continued to check the spirit patterns. More than 20 level 20 boss abyss monsters exploded a total of 3 golden modules. Among them, only Centipede Fong has additional entries, and the other 2 are ordinary golden modules. The modules exploded by the 2 elf queens gave Wang Chu a little surprise. Dark Elf Queen's Whip weapon module. Level. 1st level, Golden Abyss. Effect, Mecha Strength Attribute plus 600, Mecha Durability Consumption Speed plus 100%. Additional entry. Fiery Whip, normal attack will have a whip effect, causing 10% whip damage for 10 seconds. Introduction. Oh yeah, baby. It feels like a weird weapon module, but the attributes are really explosive. The additional terms are also very good, 100% damage in 10 seconds, which is equivalent to causing 2 damages if you draw once. It is useless for players with overwhelming attributes like yourself. Crown of the Elf Queen, multi-function module. Level. Level 1, Golden Abyss. Effect, Mecha Defense Attribute plus 300, Mecha Durability Consumption Rate minus 100%. Additional terms. Holy Aura. Mechas within a range of 50 meters will recover 1 point of mecha durability every 60 seconds. Introduction. Don't bow your head. Fuck. Wang Chu's eyes widened. Holy Aura. This additional term is undoubtedly a magical skill among magical skills, especially when it is absorbed when breaking through the second level in the future. It will become a permanent aura buff. Let Wanking use this module. After all, Su Wanking equipped him with a complete set of golden modules when he was at the first level. Although this crown of the Elf Queen is several times more expensive than its value, that's a small problem. Dong dong dong, suddenly, the door of the rental house was knocked, and a shout came from outside the door. Brother Wang Chu, are you home? It's Su Wanking. Wang Chu turned his head sharply. At this time, Urza was reading a book with a strange cover. Perhaps she felt an unfriendly gaze. Urza quietly poked her head out from behind the book, her face flushed. God, Lord God's envoy, can that kind of thing really be put in? Damn it, didn't I tell you not to look under my bed? A few minutes ago, Su Wanking was a little anxious. Just after coming out of the first level Abyss dungeon, I heard that Wang Chu encountered an Abyss pilot when he went to visit the orphanage in the morning. Although Su Sure said that Wang Chu was unharmed, she still rushed over worriedly. Miss, Master Wang Chu should have entered the Abyss dungeon. You can go there later. No, the first person Brother Wang Chu sees when he comes back must be me. Miss, Master Wang Chu has come out of the dungeon. How did you know? Su Sure raised his right hand wearing a white glove gently, supported his glasses, and said in an incredible tone, "The ranking list has been updated. Look closely." His right hand was shaking slightly. Su Wanking heard it and stopped, immediately entered the spirit pattern, and opened the ranking list of the first level Abyss dungeon. The first place throne that had not been moved for decades. It has changed. First place, Wang Chu SSS. Second place, Bai Hao SSS. Su Wanking gently hooked the fine hair behind her ears. Against the backdrop of the setting sun, her smile is one of the most beautiful scenery in the world. What's so surprising about this? He is my most powerful brother, Wang Chu. Su Wanking stepped on her long legs and trotted briskly, and came to the door of Wang Chu's rental house with ease. Although this is the first time here, but in fact, she has been paying attention to this place for many years, and has played today in her mind countless times. Ooh. Su Wanking exhaled and slightly tidied her almost perfect hair. Brother Wang Chu, are you home? After a few breaths, there was a sudden sound of chaos inside. Then, a hesitant female voice sounded. Too big now. I can't get in. Bang! Su Wanking's face was cold, and she kicked the door of the rental house away. In the room, a beautiful blonde girl was sticking her hips out, posing in an ORZ position, as if she was about to get under the bed. Behind her, Wang Chu's right foot was stepping on her hips. As the door was kicked open, Wang Chu looked at Su Wanking standing at the door with an embarrassed look on his face, and slowly retracted his foot. The beautiful blonde girl groaned with her head facing the bottom of the bed. No, I can't get in. Keep pushing. Why don't you use more force? Wanla. Totally fucking Wanla. So that's how it is. I knew that Brother Wang Chu wasn't that kind of person. Su Wanking had a faint smile on her face, and she was completely different from when she kicked the door just now. If it weren't for the obvious ear feature of the elf, Su Wanking had to suspect that Wang Chu was secretly learning eagle language in the room. Wang Chu and Urza sat on the red plastic chairs with a well-behaved look on their faces. You know shit. Who kicked the door open just now? Wang Chu secretly laughed in his heart. The situation was urgent just now, and he forgot that he could turn Urza into the elf holy sword. But it doesn't matter. Urza will meet Su Wanking as an elf sooner or later. After all, who would collapse on the ground and gasp for breath after using a weapon for a while? What if it turns into a finger ring and inserts it for a while? Brother Wang Chu, congratulations on winning the first place in the first level Abyss dungeon ranking. This is a reward from my father. Su Wanking stood up and took out a small box from her bag. When she opened it, a shining philosopher's stone was placed inside. Wang Chu raised his head and looked at Su Wanking. You are so filial. Does your father know? Chapter 37. Wang Chu has already used a philosopher's stone, and he also obtained the powerful golden quality skill, Eye of the Abyss. At this time, Su Wanking took out the philosopher's stone. If nothing unexpected happened, it was given to her by Su Chun. As a result, She was reluctant to use it herself, but gave it to the yellow-haired guy outside. Should we say that Su-chun is farsighted? Or is Su wanking filial? Wang Chu pushed the box back. Wanking, keep this philosopher's stone for yourself. Su wanking was obviously a little anxious. Brother Wang Chu, I have used it. You also know that the next time you use it is when you reach the 3rd level. There are only about 10 days left before the mechanical weapon exam. So don't be polite to me. Although both of them have been admitted to the Imperial Capital Mechanical Weapon. But the Mechanical Weapon exam is a national exam, and you can compete with people from the entire alliance. At the same time, you can get rare module rewards if you get good grades in the national exam. I will slap my thigh if I miss it. Have you really used it? Really? This philosopher's stone is what my father asked me to bring to you. Su wanking looked sincere. Wang Chu almost thought her father really said it. Otherwise, why do they say that beautiful girls are more likely to lie? Wang Chu smiled and said, but at noon my father-in-law just asked Butler Su to send me a philosopher's stone, huh? Dad has already given it to me? Su Wanking's face flushed instantly. I don't know if it was because she was exposed or because of the word father-in-law. Okay then, Su Wanking whispered. However, I still have a few first-order modules that exploded in the Abyss dungeon to give you, so you don't have to be polite with me about this. Wang Chu, did the rich Dora lady use her money ability again? Coincidentally, Wang Chu also had a Crown of the Elf Queen to give her. The two of them transmitted chip modules to each other. This time, Su Wanking did not give out a powerful Abyss module like Abyss Dragon Claw. Laturu's Strength Arm Guard, Left Limb Module. Level, 1st level gold. Effect, Mecha Strength Attribute plus 150, Mecha Durability Consumption Speed plus 50%. Additional item, Blessing, get an additional attribute bonus, Agility plus 150. Introduction, the equipment of the brave Latru during his novice period. Another one is the matching right limb module. This time, my luck is not very good. I didn't get any good chip modules. After receiving the Crown of the Elf Queen, transmitted by Wang Chu, Su Wanking said a little embarrassedly, isn't this good? Wang Chu was numb. Blessing is an excellent item for supporting attributes. Although it is not an Abyss module, it has an additional 150 points of agility attribute, just like a substitute version of the Abyss module. An ordinary 1st level gold module costs 150,000 Alliance coins, and this Laturu's Strength Arm Guard is worth about 700,000 Alliance coins. But compared to the Crown of the Elf Queen that Wang Chu traded, it is not so attractive. With the magic skill, it can be sold for at least 4 million Alliance coins. It is even more valuable than some 4th level gold modules. Of course, Wang Chu will not care about this gain or loss. Su Wanking is a girl who doesn't even want to use the Philosopher's Stone herself and wants to give it to herself. What reason is there not to cherish such a girl? What are your plans for the next 10 days, Brother Wang Chu? Wang Chu fell into deep thought. Indeed, there are still many things to do. After upgrading to the 1st level, he got another chance to draw a chip construction machine. Then there are the materials of Heart of the Elf Queen that exploded in the copy, which are the main materials used to transform the mecha. Exoskeleton mechas do not only have 3 simple attributes of strength, agility, and defense, and then increase with the level. Every pilot can modify the mecha according to his own ideas and financial resources. Otherwise, how can we say that pilots spend money? If you are a pauper, you can only become stronger by constantly brushing dungeons, upgrading levels, exploding modules, and exploding materials. Then welcome the mecha exam in 10 days with your best attitude. After pondering for a moment, Wang Chu said, let's go to eat first, and then draw the number of new chip construction times. Starting tomorrow, we will continue to play dungeons together and try to collect a set of golden modules before the mecha exam. Su Wanking nodded and stood up. Before that, Brother Wang Chu, you should find a new place to live first. The bear is so big, and it's an elf. Damn it. Su Wanking left in front. Her hands were tightly clenched. As a D-class warrior, she actually felt a sense of frustration when facing Urza, who was at least an E-class warrior. Although in terms of appearance, She is not inferior to Urza at all, and is even more perfect than Urza, but can't guarantee that Brother Wang Chu likes this. After all, she is an elf. Is there any man who doesn't like elves? And the most important thing is, as Wang Chu is bound to the elf holy sword, she must not be separated from Wang Chu. This means that they must live under the same roof, and the two of them spend more time together than she does. Is it really okay to live here? Wang Chu said, looking at the luxuriously decorated villa. Of course. Su Wanking turned around and smiled like a pure white lotus. This is one of the villas under my name. Usually no one lives here. It's most convenient for the three of us to live here. Wang Chu said, what? The three of us? That's right. Suwanki nadid bigerisli. How could she let Wang Chu live with a weird bear-like Pokemon that came out of nowhere and was so big? Wang Chu's first blood. It can only be hers. Wang Chu. Living together doesn't matter. The problem is, we just made a 3-year agreement yesterday, and we're going to live together from today. Will Su Chun, the daughter slave, agree? Okay. Wang Chu agreed after thinking for a few seconds. It shouldn't be that bad, right? After all, it's not like a man and a woman are living in the same room. At least, leave a whole body? It's mainly because Urza has just come to this world and is unfamiliar with everything. It will take a few days to adapt. If it were in a Japanese comic, when a man and a woman are alone, the male protagonist of Asahi will encounter all kinds of charming plots. But for Wang Chu, just let it go. Even if they live together, it will only be about 10 days. After taking the Mecha exam, they will set off for the Imperial capital. Let's go while it's still early. Hurry up and draw today's module. The absolute overclocking, drawn at the 0 level, directly laid the foundation for the direction of Wang Chu's mecha. Although the core chip module cannot be drawn this time, if you are lucky, there will still be a huge improvement. Chapter 38, Dacia Military Region. Commander-in-Chief's Office. Report. Enter. A tall soldier walked into the office with a straight posture and saluted. Commander Bai, Wang Chu's first-level Abyss trial score is out. Across from him, a stern man who looked about 40 years old was checking the documents on the table. Bai Hao calmly put down the materials in his hand and entered the spiritual pattern to check. After a few breaths, he curled his lips slightly. On the first-level Abyss trial ranking list, his first place has been replaced by Wang Chu. Qin Xiao stood in front of Bai Hao with his eyebrows lowered and saw Bai Hao's expression from the corner of his eye. As Bai Hao's secretary, it was the first time he saw the commander show such a strange smile. It gave him an indescribable feeling. If I had to describe it, it felt like excitement. Qin Xiao's pupils shrank slightly, and he was frightened by his own thoughts. As the strongest fighter in Dacia, Commander Bai is known as the pilot who has the most hope of breaking through to the 9th level. He owns several super-limited machines. You know, any super-limited machine has the ability to destroy a city alone. At the same time, he is also the main fighter in the Alliance to protect the safety of the planet. Would such a powerful commander Bai be excited about a pilot who has just reached the 1st level? Absolutely impossible. However, he still asked tentatively, Commander Bai, why don't I bring Wang Chu to meet you? If Wang Chu can get your guidance, his next path will definitely be easier. Commander Bai heard and chuckled. No need. I will go to see him in person. After that, he lowered his head and began to process the documents. Yes. Qin Xiao saluted again and turned to leave the office, where Bai Hao couldn't see. Qin Xiao's pupils were shaking wildly. What? The great Xia god of war, an 8th rank extraordinary pilot. I actually have to meet him in person? A new pilot who is only at the 1st rank? In the evening, a black Maybach stopped at the door of the chip construction center. Wang Chu and the other two got out of the car, and the combination of handsome men and beautiful women instantly attracted the attention of everyone around. Needless to say, Wang Chu was handsome, just a little bit inferior to the people in front of the screen. Su Wanking had long black hair that reached her waist, a tall figure, a willow-like waist, and a pair of smart eyes with a smile, just like the purest beauty of her school days. The other girl, although wrapped in a hood, judging from her slender thighs and her proud figure that was close to people, She must not be ugly. Looking at the Maybach driving away, Urza asked curiously, Lord God, this iron thing is so magical that it can be driven without magic. This thing is called a car, driven by a mechanical core. You will know it later. Wang Chu sneered, worthy of being a bumpkin from a dungeon. Urza nodded and blinked her big eyes under the hood. Lord God's car must be more powerful than this, right? Wang Chu, why are you so dirty, elf? 30 years east, 30 years west. Don't bully the poor young. Although it was evening, there were still many people gathered in the chip construction center. The layout here is compartmentalized, and each small room has an instrument connected to the chip construction center. Modules extracted from the first level are tradable. If you extract a rare chip module in public, it is very likely that you will be dragged into the alley and stripped naked when you turn left, and even your pants will be taken away. Brother Wang Chu, let's go into the same construction room. Su Wanking patted Wang Chu's shoulder and said sweetly. Wang Chu nodded. There was no need to hide anything between him and Su Wanking. After all, they would be open and honest with each other in the future. Wang Chu. Many people around heard these two words. Their steps paused, and they turned their heads to look over instantly. These two words have now quickly exploded in the pilot's circle. Wang Chu. This name seems a little familiar. Fuck, of course it sounds familiar. He won the first place in 2 consecutive Abyss trials. How can it not be familiar? It's been less than 2 hours since Wang Chu cleared the dungeon. The news that he squeezed out by Hao's first place and won the first place SSS level evaluation has exploded. A group of people found Wang Chu's photos with their mobile phones and started to compare them. Fuck, you don't know until you see it. After searching, I found out that this new pilot named Wang Chu is so handsome. Isn't this a real anti-counterfeit mark? It must be Wang Chu. If Wang Chu won the first place in the 0-level Abyss Trial Dungeon 1, is probably just lucky. Then, he won the first place in the first-level Abyss Trial again, just 2 days later, proving his absolute strength. Do you really think that all SSS evaluations can be explained by luck? That's just an excuse for the jealousy of the weak. Don't get involved. Isn't that more ruthless than the genius of the Liu family? Genius? Can anyone do it? Even Commander by ranked second. There is no genius in front of Wang Chu. Haha. More awesome than Commander by. You really dare to say that. That's not the case. Liu Qi is the owner of absolute speed. Anyway, and I heard that he broke through the first level yesterday, earlier than Wang Chu, and even ranked 12th. It's still 12th, brother. It's already 13th now. Wang Chu felt like a gorilla in a zoo. A group of people stopped to discuss, looking at him with burning eyes. As for the Zhang San, Li Si, and Wang Wu that they compared themselves with, I don't know them, and it doesn't matter. Now for him, the attraction of lottery is much greater than that of Hitano, Mikami, or Mamanoji. Let's go, I can't wait. Wang Chu rubbed his hands and said, let's go to this one. Originally, Wang Chu entered a construction room at random, but he was pulled out by Su Wanking and moved to the next room. Wang Chu looked confused. Aren't all these rooms the same? Su Wanking laughed. I just found that several people came out of this room in a row with their heads down, and now they must have been padded. What you said makes sense. The chip construction room is a small room of less than 10 square meters. The 3 people went in together. It was not spacious, but not crowded. 2 different faint fragrances filled the small room, and Wang Chu put his left hand on the construction machine. Buzz, Wang Chu, first-level pilot, number of constructions. 1. Start construction. Constructing. The construction machine and the spirit pattern are activated at the same time, and a beam of light shoots out from Wang Chu's spirit pattern and pours into the construction machine. This feeling, origin. Wang Chu held his breath and stared with his eyes wide open. In the past, when I got the guarantee 3 times in a row, I was not as nervous as I am now. Damn! Another golden beam of light. Golden Legend. Chapter 39. Wang Chu immediately glanced at his ability panel and frowned. Strange, the abilities on it still haven't changed. This is a bit wrong. Whether it's a special ability or something else, there's only one ability, Saitama's Constitution, and Eye of the Abyss. There are no special abilities like Lucky and Lucky. But why did my luck get better? And it's too lucky. In the past, after finishing my part-time job every week, I always tried to struggle in the lottery shop I passed by. Facts have proved that it's pure IQ tax. As a non-African, I have won 5 Alliance coins at most after playing various lotteries. But recently, it's absolute overclocking and the Abyss module again. Even now, the first level chip construction is also gold. It's really a bit unfamiliar. A few seconds later, a golden beam of light shot out from the chip construction machine and poured into Wang Chu's spiritual pattern. Imaginary enemy, skill module. Quality, gold, skill, can enter the imaginary enemy training space. The effect is to be developed by yourself. Introduction, Yongyi, Luo 1, spreading hands. Golden skill module, Wang Chu used it without thinking. As his body became stronger, the most lacking thing was skills. A strange feeling came over him. Ding! Successfully learned imaginary enemy. However, Wang Chu suppressed his excitement. At this moment, it was not a good time to enter the imaginary enemy model training space. Su Wanking said in a clipped voice, "Wow, it's a gold chip module, brother Wang Chu is so lucky." Wang Chu smiled and said politely, "It's because of being in the same room with you that my luck has improved. You can also do it." Yeah. Only Urza, the elf, was left standing by with a confused look on her face. What happened? Su Wanking followed closely, took a step forward, raised her slender and beautiful palm, and placed it on it. Boom! The golden light suddenly illuminated the whole room. Wang Chu had a vague feeling that this movement was even louder than what he had just done. Su Wanking jumped up happily on the spot. "Great, I'm also a golden module." Wang Chu, "No pigeons. Is this gold so worthless?" Huh. At night, Wang Chu lay on the 2.5-meter-long bed and even wanted to do a set of radio gymnastics. So the life of rich people is so comfortable. In comparison, it is not an exaggeration to call the small single room he rented before Doghouse. However, compared with the luxurious decoration, the most worrying thing is your soundproofing is not good. There are constant sounds of laughter and playfulness coming from the bathroom next door. "Sister Urza, what did you eat to grow so big?" I don't know. I'm still so soft. I'm so envious. Brother Wang Chu must like this. Really? Really? The mind is full of images. It's hard not to like it. Wang Chu bent over on the bed like a shrimp. This question, if you think about it for a second longer, you will doubt whether your orientation is correct, especially for someone like me, who can be a magician after 2 lifetimes. It's embarrassing for the army of time travelers. No. Wang Chu shook his head. Imaginary enemy activated. The next second, Wang Chu suddenly opened his eyes. Everything around him has changed. It's like a white rectangular space formed by a black edge line. Ding! Welcome to the imaginary enemy training space. Now, basic teaching. Before Wang Chu could react, the rectangular space began to extend and expand. Then, it turned into an octagonal cage ring. A figure was already standing quietly less than 3 meters away from him, looking at him fiercely. Under the spotlight above his head, Wang Chu subconsciously narrowed his eyes. Before he could use the eye of the abyss, a piece of data had already appeared next to that person. He looked like a professional boxer he had seen online before. Professional boxer bro. Strength 30, agility 20, vitality 25. That's it. Just as he was about to laugh, a fist as big as a sandbag had already swung over. Overestimating one's own abilities. Wang Chu smiled crookedly. This action, under the effect of the eye of the abyss, time sense, was simply too slow. Bang! His head was buzzing. Coming back to his senses, Wang Chu found that he had back to the training space. Wang Chu took a deep breath and began to check the reason in his mind. The fight lasted only 3 seconds. With the time sense effect of Eye of the Abyss, he could slow down the opponent's attack. But my reaction and speed could not keep up with the rhythm of time sense. Even if I could see the opponent's movements clearly, I still couldn't dodge that punch. Logically speaking, I was still in the last ripple state. It was impossible for me to not react. After looking at the attributes, Wang Chu realized that he had thought wrong. Wang Chu, strength 20, agility 20, vitality 20. Imaginary enemy training space is an independent individual. After studying for a while, Wang Chu found that he could set his own attributes and the attributes and abilities of his opponent at will. It was really awesome. Keep going. Come again. Wang Chu took a deep breath, and his eyes became sharp. Then, the colors around him changed again. The professional boxer just now appeared in front of him again. This time, Wang Chu took the same stance as the opponent. Oh! Wang Chu dodged a left hook from the professional boxer by leaning sideways, just when he was about to seize the opportunity to press forward. A right hook hit him directly on the forehead. Back to the training space again. About 10 hours had passed. During these 10 hours, Wang Chu had been immersed in the training space. Countless challenges, countless failures. But Wang Chu became more and more fierce, because he was constantly improving the attributes of his opponent. This imaginary enemy training space can actually increase my learning speed. Wang Chu was a little excited. Wang Chu did not think he was a martial arts genius. However, in the imaginary enemy training space, it didn't take long for him to be able to imitate 70% of the professional boxer's movements. It was not a poor imitation, but he really learned it. Moreover, the training space will analyze each battle and give the best counterattack method and timing. It's like a teacher guiding you from the side. After a long time, Wang Chu opened his eyes and got out of the imaginary enemy training space. I stayed in there for almost 10 hours, and I didn't feel tired at all relying on my own explosive spiritual attribute points. Wait! Wang Chu was suddenly stunned, and his palm moved unconsciously. Why do I feel like there is something soft in the quilt? It's hard to grasp with one hand. He suddenly lifted the quilt, and a golden figure was in the quilt. Huh? Chapter 40, what are you doing? Wang Chu pulled his hand back abruptly. The warm touch lingered for a short while. Urza's jade-like face turned slightly red, and her moist eyes stared at Wang Chu. I'm giving birth. Wang Chu was confused. No, you're giving birth? Then what am I doing? Seeing that Wang Chu didn't speak, Urza continued in a soft voice. The goddess said, I'm the only elf left in the elf clan. So I must take on the mission of reproduction as soon as possible. She talked to herself, her face getting redder and redder. Although the envoy of God is a human, but the envoy of God is so strong and handsome. If it's the envoy of God, I can do it. Wang Chu really lived in Bungbu. He never thought that this elf girl had thought so far. Wang Chu sat back. Eluza, how old are you this year? Eluza propped herself up, and the quilt slipped off her body. The neckline of the delicate silk nightgown was wide open, and a suspender drooped down, revealing a semicircle. I just turned 180 this year. 180 years old. I almost forgot. Elves are all old monsters. Is there any problem? I am an adult. Wang Chu nodded. If you convert it this way, I understand. Just turned 18 years old, right? They could be approved. So, is this how you give birth to a child? What else? Urza tilted her head with an innocent look. My sisters used to say that as long as you sleep in the same quilt, a cute elf will be born. What a pure race. Wan Chu Sai. He stretched out his left hand and pulled up Urza's suspenders under Urza's shy gaze. I know you're anxious, but don't worry. We just met. There's a long way to go. The mission of reproduction should not be undertaken by an elf who has just come of age and knows nothing. Wang Chu looked serious, like a gentleman. How long have they just known each other? It's okay to talk nonsense at ordinary times. I'm not hungry to that extent. It's definitely not, because Sue wanking sleeps next door. Go away, go away. Don't disturb your god's envoy to rest. Oh, ding, complete the daily task. Strength +3, agility +3, physique +3, spirit +3, free attribute points +3. The next day, Wang Chu got up early for a morning run. After adding 3 free attribute points to strength, the attributes were improved again. Strength, 6,800. Agility, 3,800. Physique, 4,000. Spirit, 4,200. Wang Chu tooted his tongue and said in a somewhat Versailles way, This attribute, I feel a little bit underwhelming. Currently still within the duration of the last ripple. 34 points of strength has reached a terrifying 6,800 points with a 200-fold bonus. This is similar to the current situation after I activated the Zero Exoskeleton mech. This situation is mainly caused by the bonus brought by absolute overclocking and the blessing of the two elf goddesses. The full attribute bonus of up to 2,000% directly tied the last ripple, which made the attributes of my mecha explode. In fact, it's good to have Su Wanking assisting me. With the attributes of my current mecha, I'm reluctant to explode the armor easily. But Wang Chu paused and continued to think. The pilot level will increase more and more slowly, and the attributes will gradually become saturated, while my Saitama constitution can help me improve infinitely. Not to mention that after upgrading to level 2, the effect of the last ripple is very likely to reach 300 times. That will be too explosive. Wang Chu fantasized all the way and walked towards the villa. Speaking of the Zero Mecha, Wang Chu's eyes lit up. It's time to prepare for the second set of Exoskeleton Mecha. Everyone will automatically get the most basic Exoskeleton Mecha, which is the Zero Mecha, after becoming a pilot. Only after upgrading to level 1 can it be regarded as a preliminary step into the world of pilots. For a first-level pilot, the two exoskeleton mechas still share the same cooling time. However, having a second mecha means having one more choice. When facing different scenes and different enemies, choose to summon mechas with different tendencies and attributes to fight. And you can choose different ones according to the different core chips' growth direction. For example, Wang Chu's absolute overclocking can be made in the direction of strength or agility. After returning to the villa, Su Wanking and Urza had also gotten up early and were basking in the sun on the swing in the courtyard. "Brother Wang Chu, you're back." Su Wanking stood up and greeted him. Urza, who was standing next to him, looked away with a flickering look after seeing Wang Chu. I wonder if she was thinking about what happened last night. "Wanking, how much do you know about mecha construction?" Wang Chu directly asked the question he was most concerned about. The knowledge point of mecha construction is not taught in high school, because generally, people can get in touch with it during college. But for Su Wanking, who has a father who is a 7th-level pilot, her knowledge must be much broader than Wang Chu. Understood. Su Wanking nodded. It's not difficult to build an exoskeleton mecha. All you need is the blueprints, the core, and the nutrient solution. Brother Wang Chu, are you ready to build the second mecha? The blueprints and nutrient solution are backed up in the villa. I'll prepare the core for you right away. As expected of you, rich woman. Wang Chu waved his hand quickly. No, I already have the core. Not to be polite. He really has the core. Do you have a core? Just then, a familiar voice came from outside the courtyard door. Suchin walked in slowly, raised his eyebrows, and said, "Wang Chu, are you sure you don't want it? We have prepared a gold-quality core material for you." The price of a gold-quality core, even if it's only the first level, is more than 1 million. For Wang Chu, a poor guy, it's a huge sum of money. "Dad, why are you here?" Su Wanking asked. A few simple words directly broke the defense of Suchun, a tough guy. Why did he come here so early in the morning? Didn't he have any idea in mind? My precious daughter is living with another bastard man. Which father can tolerate this? Huh? Wang Chu shrugged his shoulders. The spiritual pattern on the back of his hand flashed, and 2 hearts emitting strange energy appeared on his hand, one on the left and one on the right. Heart of the Elf Queen, core construction, quality, gold level. First level, introduction. The Heart of the Elf Queen, stained with a little bit of the Fallen Abyss aura, can be used as a material for forging mechas, slightly reducing the strength attribute.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.